I'm Tom Ackerman. These are the stories making news.
A mistaken sounding of tornado sirens in the city.
Well, when I heard it go off, believe me, it got me moving, and I was aggravated.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
Trying to understand the false alarms.
Nothing. I mean, we were at home. They were off in like 2 minutes.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Rain at times today, along with a thunderstorm or two. Temperatures steady in the mid to upper 50s.
Cardinals won again. This is becoming routine. They look great. We'll tell you all about it at 6:15.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Iran's top negotiator says his country hasn't even begun its standoff in the Strait of Hormuz after new developments that may have a 4-week ceasefire on the brink of collapse. President Trump isn't worried.
I call it a mini war because that's all they are. They don't have a navy anymore.
Iran attacked an energy facility in the United Arab Emirates as both sides exchanged fire when the U.S. began a new mission to escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. The BBC's Frank Gardner.
You cannot open up the Strait of Hormuz by force. 1 or 2 ships, sure, are going to get through, but it's extremely dangerous for the US to send its warships through that narrow waterway. If they are going to be going so close to the Iranian coast, it'll only take a few seconds for an anti-ship missile to cross that distance.
A suspect shot and wounded by Secret Service is in custody in a hospital after Deputy Director Matt Quinn says they opened fire on agents near the Washington Monument.
Whether or not it was directed to the president or not, I don't know, but we will find out.
Vice President Vance had passed by a short time before. The shooting triggered a brief lockdown at the White House. State TV reports at least 26 people have been killed in a massive explosion in China's Hunan province.
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. Phone footage showed a thick gray and brown column of smoke rising into the sky where, minutes before, a fireworks factory stood. State television showed a black, charred crater, 1,500 rescuers combing the site. A few people were pulled out alive from the debris. There's little hope of finding more survivors.
Health Secretary Kennedy wants Americans to become less reliant on antidepressants.
His new plan offers guidance to help patients safely taper off common antidepressants, which he says
have a role in care.
But he says they'll no longer use them as the default.
We will treat them as one option, used when appropriate.
The goal is to curb overprescribing and promote alternatives like therapy. But critics warn the move could discourage people from seeking needed mental health treatment. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Lawmakers in Delaware are considering a bill to restrict the sale of energy drinks to kids under 18. These grown-ups weighed in.
They should ban it for younger people. You know, we don't need kids more hyped up on caffeine.
It has to be regulated. They're not against the law, but it just has to be regulated.
The bill targets drinks with at least 100 milligrams of caffeine per 8 fluid ounces. It would impose fines of up to $100 on stores that sell to children and teenagers. Gas at $4.48 a gallon. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world.
I'm Tony.
There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers.
How are you?
I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
It is 6:03. Kind of a wet morning, although right now it looks like it's just breezy downtown, although we have drizzle in the listening area. It's 56 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louisans got a jolt yesterday when tornado sirens sounded citywide during a storm, but with no warning attached. KMOX's Michael Calhoun questioned the fire chief on how this could happen.
The city tests its sirens the first Monday of the month, but a last-minute decision to cancel set off a chain reaction. KMOX asked Fire Chief Dennis Jankerson, why go into the system 1 minute before? It had the potential for rainy weather today, well before a minute before the test.
Well, I guess the weather had ramped up a little bit, and I was of the opinion that we were going to go forward with the test, but it was decided not to do it.
That decision, made with just about 60 seconds to spare, is what triggered the cascade 2.5 hours later. When did you find out that the sirens had sounded? What was the reaction then?
Well, I was sitting in my office when they came off, and they activated it. We went downstairs, and it actually said it was the monthly test going off. So that's when we, as we went into the system, we pretty much made this, the assumption that it had already queued up. And when we took it offline, once we put it back online an hour and a half later, it finished its queue.
When asked about St. Louis and saying they got caught by surprise.
People are aware of the test every month on the first Monday at 11 o'clock.
But that's at 11. This was at 1:30.
Right. There's a 1:30, right, but they are aware.
The siren company, GTSI, was already in town upgrading the sirens themselves, and now it's looking at the computer code, too. Right now, only about 52 of the 60 sirens are active, by the way. The chief hopes it'll all be up and running by the end of May. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
I'm Ivy Lyons.
I think a week ago, like at 9 o'clock, right when we went to bed, I had to get her and go into the basement because there was a tornado. And we were
There actually was.
But that was a real one.
It was like 2 weeks ago. Or
That's one of
whatever.
several St. Louis families and community members speaking with KMOX at Hampton Village Plaza this Monday. So they all try to understand what sparked an unexpected tornado siren.
We were at home and we thought like it was like a tornado.
We were at school.
But then we waited for the announcement and nothing came.
And also, it is the first Monday of the month.
No,
so
we got.
it was like 1 p.m., 1:30, and no announcement, nothing saying it was just a drill.
And while mom and dad debated what was behind the siren, their kids say they were bracing for impact.
We were
It's
at
not
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had to put our heads down, and nothing
Oh, you
came.
did?
I smashed.
Today
You have to do that every time. I smashed my hair.
St. Clair County residents flooded social media yesterday asking why sirens there sounded with no tornado warning. National Weather Service meteorologist in charge Brian Haynes says the concern about people tuning out is real.
I think we're always all concerned about that. Sure. Both of our agencies think about that quite a bit.
St. Clair County defending the call, saying Smithton police confirmed a possible tornado near the school and waiting wasn't an option.
Congressman Wesley Bell says bipartisan legislation to hold the United States Postal Service accountable is the one way customers should start to see positive changes. Since last summer, KMOX has reported on mail routes being eliminated and people not receiving mail.
Last fall, the Missouri and Illinois congressional delegation met with the Postmaster General Steiner to talk about the audits that showed major problems.
Postmaster General even agreed with all of the OIG's recommendations. This bill gets to that, holding the USPS to their commitment to better improve mail service and delivery in the St. Louis region. But I also want to say to all the frontline postal service workers who tirelessly work to ensure that our district gets its mail, thank you. This is not by any means a slight to any of you.
Bell says this is about the management and systemic failures that the Office of Inspector General uncovered. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The final 2 weeks of the 2026 Missouri legislative session have arrived with only 1 week left to hammer out next year's state budget. Democrat Betsy Fogel of Springfield is one of the budget negotiators from the Missouri House. She says her priority is finding more dollars for K through 12 public schools.
We have two proposals in front of us, a House version of the budget that uses the blind pension and gambling money, the Senate version of the budget that uses the Capital Commission dollars. Arguably, we could use both and fully fund or get very close to fully funding our foundation formula. That's what I will be fighting for in the conference room. I would imagine that will not be the will of the majority party.
The Missouri House and Senate have until 6 Friday night to send the $50 billion state budget proposal to Governor Kehoe.
From the KMOX business desk, Schnucks is the latest grocer to learn that smaller is not always better. St. Louis-based chain is closing its Schnucks Fresh store in Jasper, Indiana next month, 4 years after opening it as a test of whether a compact 18,000 square foot store could work in smaller markets. The answer apparently is no.
Schnucks closed its natural and organic Eat Well Market banner 2 years ago for similar reasons. The chain still has one fresh location near Sullivan, Missouri, but says it has no plans to expand the concept further.
Traffic and weather next. It's 6:08.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin, Washington Medicine medical oncologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Jin, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What are some of the signs and symptoms of esophageal cancer? When should someone talk to their physician?
The first signs that I typically hear about from my patients, difficulty swallowing. They'll initially start with solids and then progressively get worse. So those are the most alarming signs. And then associated with that, pain upon swallowing, there might be a cough, weight loss. So I think the first step, if you have any alarming symptoms, is talk with your primary care and really, ask them if you're appropriate to be screened.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
All right, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. We have had some rain overnight, and it's still drizzly in some areas, so just be careful of wet roadways. Let's get the latest from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, they're sort of drying out around the area now, Debbie, but I know rain's back on the way. And in fact, it may be in different areas. I mean, there's showers pushing through that'll be going on for a while this morning, most of the rush hour, I'd imagine. But right now, things are in great shape on the area interstates. Tuesday mornings tend to be busier than Monday morning, so we'll see. But right now, you can't tell. Everything's wide open, light traffic on all these highways. The only place I still see backups is on Route 3. Northbound Route 3 is jammed from Judith now all the way up to Monsanto, but southbound Route 3 just has a backup running through Queenie, so the train may have crossed. It was going through there. So it looks like it was a train. There's still a pretty good jam on northbound Route 3. Other interstate travel looking good. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Periods of rain today, a thunderstorm or two as well. It'll be much cooler than yesterday with temperatures holding nearly steady in the mid to upper 50s. Some rain early tonight, then maybe a shower late tonight, low 47. Mostly cloudy, cool tomorrow, perhaps a shower, the high 60. Sunshine and some clouds Thursday, the high 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have rain falling in the area, not immediately downtown, but certainly surrounding us, especially coming in from the west right now. It is 57 degrees with clouds downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:12, and a proposal for a data center on the former campus of Emerson in Ferguson was rejected last night by the Ferguson City Council in a 3-3 vote with one abstention. The plan before them was $1.5 billion in tax breaks for developer Jim Onder, who said without those, the project is not competitive. He did not say whether he'll move forward with the project without it. A group of residents has been urging the city council to vote against it, while supporters tout the promised economic investment.
St. Charles is holding a public meeting tonight to discuss a potential data center ban. The ban would prohibit large-scale data centers in the city. However, small-scale spaces would be allowed. The move comes after a large data center was debated last year, although it did not go through.
St. Charles enacted a one-year moratorium on data centers last year. However, the council is holding a public hearing on the potential ban tonight at 7.
St. Louis police are looking for recruits, and they want to make it as easy as possible to sign up.
So the department is holding a fast track testing day starting at 8 a.m. where candidates can apply, take their fitness test, and interview all in one visit. The department is down several hundred officers from just a few years ago. Applicants need to be 20 years old and have a valid driver's license. Starting pay is $56,000 a year. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
St. Louis police releasing information about a rash of car break-ins that happened over the weekend during the Cardinals game. Detectives stopped 5 juveniles in the 900 block of North 10th Street. A 14-year-old boy was found in possession of a handgun that was stolen from a car break-in the night before. The minor was eventually released to a parent.
The 4 other juveniles were found in possession of rocks that police say could be used to break vehicle windows, but were not in possession of any stolen items. All juveniles were transported to their guardians by detectives and released.
Drivers in Missouri are being urged to take extra caution heading into Cinco de Mayo today, one of the most dangerous days of the year on the roadways. Tabitha Perkins is Missouri's executive director of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. She tells MissouriNet DWI arrests jump by as much as 25 to 30% on May 5th.
That is nationwide. Nationwide, about 1 in every 3 crashes that will occur tomorrow will be related to an impaired driving.
Perkins says preliminary numbers show Missouri had 910 traffic deaths in 2025. Roughly 15 to 18% of those tied to impaired driving.
Listen, you can hear us talk about it all day long, how we think the Cardinals are playing great baseball and are a tough team to beat. Just ask Greg Amsinger. On the national level, they're buzzing as well. He's the anchor on MLB Network. Take a listen to this.
Even their losses look good. That is the sign of a scary baseball team. You don't want to face the St. Louis Cardinals right now, especially if the Milwaukee Brewers, and you get all of these injuries left to right, from Churio to Yelich to Woodruff. They've got all these guys that are out right now. Be ready, because the Cardinals have continuity in their lineup. They feel really good about the guys they put out there every fifth day. And their bullpen has now developed roles, which, as you know, covering this sport as long as you've done it, Tom, the bullpens with those really outlined roles. Riley O'Brien is by far the closer. Stanek is comfortably in that 7th, 8th inning stretch now. Romero, we knew was going to be the dominant lefty. Sponson's starting to get the sync back. Once the roles of the bullpen really start to take shape like they are, I was bullish on the Cardinals, and we talked about this before the season started. I'm even more bullish now.
That's MLB Network's Greg Amsinger. That was on the Gas House Gang before the Cardinals took the field last night to take on the Brewers, and Ivan Herrera did this in the 4th inning.
Base is full, and the pitch to Herrera is lined towards left center field, and that is over the head of the outfielders and off the wall. 1 run scores, 2 run score. Here comes a runner from first. Play at the plate, not in time. A 3-run double for Ivan Herrera. And it's 4-0 St. Louis.
Cardinals led 4-1 in the 7th. Mason win.
Here's the pitch on the way. And Mason grounds one in the right field for a base hit. Here comes Walker. He's going to score, and the Cardinals now have taken the lead as Nolan Gorman is picked off second.
But the run scores an RBI for win, and it's 5-1. You heard Amsinger referencing Ryan Stanek. He's on the mound in the 8th.
A swing and a miss, and the Cardinals throw the ball around the infield after Rengifo strikes out.
And the Cardinals go on to win this one 6-3. They knock off the Brewers from the NL Central, the team that's now in last place in the Central, Milwaukee. But with a winning record, 2 games over 500, the Cardinals are 21-14. They're 2 out in the Central. They own second place all of themselves. Here's Herrera.
Yeah, I mean, if you walk JJ, nothing against JJ. He's lefty. He's also a rookie, I also hit well, in tight position. I feel like I just locked in a little better. Usually I would swing at that, cut it down away. That's a ground ball. So I feel like I just focus a little extra there.
He drilled it for a 3-run double, and the Cardinals win this game 6-3. Herrera, one of the better hitters on this team. This team has got some continuity in their lineup, no question about it. We'll see what happens moving forward tonight with a 6:45 start. Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. Stanley Cup playoffs. Carolina wins over the Flyers 3-2. In overtime, they take a 2-0 series lead. And Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1 to go up 1-0 in that series. The Knicks hammered the Sixers 137-98 to go up 1-0. And Minnesota surprised San Antonio 104-102 to take a 1-0 series lead. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra vutrisiran is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
A Mother's Day to remember. Are you ready for this one? May 9th and 10th. That is coming up this weekend at Warm Springs Ranch for the Budweiser Clydesdales Parade of Champions. What a great idea for Mother's Day. A never before open to the public chance to see the majestic Clydesdales, those beautiful stallions, braided, polished, and showcased like true champions. Watch them parade alongside their offspring and experience the world-renowned breeding program up close at Warm Springs Ranch for Mother's Day. Live demonstrations. Meet a Clydesdale up close. Your ticket includes all-inclusive food and drink, plus Budweiser, Bud Lights, and neutrals for guests 21 plus. Browse the gift shop. Make a full day of it. Doors open at 9:30 in the morning. Festivities run until 3 in the afternoon. It's the Parade of Champions at Warm Springs Ranch from Anheuser-Busch, the Budweiser Clydesdales. Visit online, warmspringsranch.com. That's warmspringsranch.com.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
621, let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, getting out and getting going this morning. It's a little busier this morning than yesterday. The volume starting to see slowdowns on northbound 55, Debbie, north of Richardson up to the Merrimack, north of 141. It's also a little bit busy north of Bayless up to River de Pere. Not that bad there. North 270 looks good at the south end as you come on from 55. There's just a little slowdown approaching Manchester. Again, it's not that bad there. Starting to see some volume on southbound 61 as well. One's from Parkway down to 64. So, again, busier certainly than it was yesterday. And also westbound 64 on the Illinois side. A brief slowdown through 159. Route 3 doing better. That train's crossed at Monsanto. There's just a little slow traffic through Judith and Queenie and a brief delay at Monsanto, so not much to worry about there now, so that's good news. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. How's your family? Do you have a legal plan for them when you're gone? Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
We have some rain in the area. There's no doubt about that, but most of it is not in the immediate central corridor here. We're looking at the heaviest rain in St. Charles, also in Florissant in North County, and then in South County near Oakville and Arnold. As for today, periods of rain and a thunderstorm, temperatures in the 50s. Tonight, some rain early, low 47. Tomorrow, a stray shower, high 60. It's 57 now.
The news continues on KMOX. Insects in your yard are important, and not just the pollinators. Conservationist Justin Grubb, a former presenter at TEDx St. Louis, says your green lawn is a monoculture that offers bugs no food, shelter, or water. But you don't have to turn the entire yard into a prairie.
You know, it's kind of a big ask to turn an entire lawn into a native area. But if you start small and start increasing your garden sizes, and maybe even just thinking more critically about what kind of plants you are putting around in your gardens, rather than going with some of the ornamental plants that you'd get at your local hardware store, you can maybe consider some native species that you'd get at your local nurseries. And the benefits to those are they have deeper root systems, they're able to withstand environmental extremes, they don't require as much care, as much fertilizer, as much water as some of these non-native ornamentals that are popular in people's gardens. Just starting there makes a huge difference, because those species that are native to your area have evolved with those native plants. And so having native plants like that in your gardens really does a lot for species. And then from there, you can consider increasing your garden size, adding more native plants. And then as you kind of get into that and enjoy the benefits of seeing those insects and all the other species that are utilizing that garden space, then you can start taking out some parts of your lawn that you might not necessarily need, or, and plant those native plants. And the benefit to that is you will save a lot of money because you're not going to be mowing those sections. You don't need to be watering. You don't need to be fertilizing. The insects are going to move in, and that's going to have amphibians move in and some other species, reptiles moving in, and that's going to attract a whole food web that'll take care of that garden for you.
When people hear snakes and reptiles moving in, maybe it might dissuade some people from wanting to attempt that, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's absolutely all good. I mean, those animals are much more afraid of you than you are of them. In fact, they will do everything they can to avoid you. You can have a wonderful relationship with a lizard. You could just let the lizard do its thing. The lizard will let you do its thing. You don't have to worry about each other, and all will be good.
Okay, I welcome all lizards into my yard. I love lizards. So a lot of people are recognizing how important honeybees are, and maybe even butterflies and some other pollinators. But for some of the other insects that aren't necessarily pollinators, what can you say to people about letting them be as well, or even encouraging them into your yard?
Yeah, those insects definitely help support the pollinators. And so you can't really have a full healthy pollinator population without all of the other insects that help support that. The insects that live on the leaves that eat some of the other insects that might bother the pollinators or eat the flowers, or, even the insects that help break down decaying and dead plants to provide energy and fertilizer for those pollinators. And it's kind of a full ecosystem. Everyone is working together to make the habitat function properly, and the pollinators are just one element of that. And so if we're only focused on the pollinators, we're not going to have that full service of the entire ecosystem.
That is conservationist Justin Grubb. The next TEDx St. Louis is May 30th at the History Museum.
And while we're talking about critters, if you think you saw a worm jump, it could be the invasive jumping worm, also known as the Alabama jumper or snake worm.
The state of Missouri shows like 60-some confirmed reports of jumping worms.
Angelo Sokolowski with the Missouri Department of Conservation says the worms won't hurt you, but they act weirdly aggressive, and they eat the organic layer right at the surface of the soil, drying things out and curbing nutrients for plants.
In an urban setting, that's going to impact homeowners who have vegetable gardens and flower gardens and manicured lawns and landscapes.
She says don't spray the worms with chemicals, as that affects all the other creatures in the soil.
It is 6:27, and that time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's Budweiser's 150th anniversary, and we are celebrating with a Heritage Can Series that honors the legacy of being made in America. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. I always loved that as a kid, watching those commercials when they said Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. Well, Budweiser Lager Beer. Collect all 4 designs for 150 years. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. When you take a look at these cans, you're going to love them. One of them says the Great American Budweiser Lager Beer, and on top it says Budweiser since 1876. The other one says America since 1776. And the label reads, the United States of America, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This Bud's for you, by the people, for the people, for 250 years. What a cool thing. It's Budweiser. Visit them online, Budweiser.com, to see these cans for yourself, or go pick up a 6-pack. Have a great time with it. Enjoy responsibly. This Bud's for you.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm, American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Glover here from my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It is 6:30, and right now we've got some rain in the area. It's 56 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's getting a little busier out there on your drive in now. You're starting to see a little bit more of a backup on northbound 55 north of Richardson up to 141, and from there it's slow up to the work zone at the Merrimack. You're also backing up from the Union Road overpass through Bayless and still slow up to about Loughborough. Northbound 270, still just a bit of a slowdown. We'll call it north of Doherty Ferry to Manchester, and then approaching 64, it gets a little busy. Southbound 61, more volume here. There's slow traffic now from Highway P down to 64 or 70, but once you get on there, take your pick. Both of them have good runs going across the Missouri River bridges, and on the Illinois side, westbound 64, just a brief slowdown as you pass 159. After that is clear sailing across the Poplar. Route 3 is a little busy north of Queenie through Monsanto, just slow from an earlier train crossing, so really not that bad. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Kind of nasty out there. You can see on our video, I don't know if you're aware that we stream this show on video. We have YouTube, X, and Facebook going. And for a while there, you could see the wind blowing behind me with the American flag and the Soldiers Memorial Museum. We do have cloudy skies. It just looks nasty out there. The rain is falling around the area, and it's going to continue that way today. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm, says Joe Lundberg. Cooler than yesterday. Highs in the mid to upper 50s. Tonight, cloudy with some rain early, a shower late, low 47. Tomorrow, cloudy and cool with a stray shower and a high of 60. It's 57 right now.
Well, we did have some storms moving through yesterday. However, tornado sirens turned heads across St. Louis yesterday during that storm, even though no severe weather had been issued.
Every first Monday of the month, the city tests its tornado sirens at 11 a.m. With rainy weather moving through, St. Louis County scrubbed its test, and the city decided to follow, but the computer did not get that memo in time.
It appears that when we discontinued the test with just, I don't know, a minute and a half to go before the computer went into its testing program, that the program had already began to run and it started to activate all the sirens. So we manually shut it down. And when that happened, because it was already in the queue, the computer held it.
Chief Dennis Jankerson tells KMOX it wasn't just one person at the controls when the decision was made to cancel.
There was 4 or 5 of us inside the dispatch center when we were watching them bring the system down.
And the fire chief says the vendor working on siren upgrades was already in town and is now taking a look.
It appears to be a programming glitch. We have the company that is doing all the upgrades. They're on their way in here to review the computer program and make sure we didn't, and we'll eliminate that issue.
The city is still in the middle of upgrading its full network of 60 tornado sirens. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
We have a follow-up on the ongoing problems with the United States Postal Service, a story KMOX has been following since last summer.
And it's been going on for far too long.
Congressman Wesley Bell says this has to stop. Last week, an entire dumpster of mail was found abandoned on a North St. Louis parking lot.
Last year, the United States Postal Service Inspector General audited mail service in our region and found specific documented failures, delayed mail, missed scans, delivery breakdowns that have caused serious delays that St. Louisans have become all too familiar with, unfortunately.
Bell has bipartisan legislation holding the USPS accountable by requiring a report to Congress to include the Office of Inspector General's list of ways to improve service, staffing shortfalls, driver vacancies, and how delayed mail is being tracked and reported. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Money Minute from Bloomberg coming up next at 6:34.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470. Or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Let's take a look at your business report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. For global airlines, this year was supposed to be a big one. The industry projected record profits backed by more than 5 billion passengers and a busy summer travel season ahead. But then came the war in Iran and major disruptions to global jet fuel supplies. Airlines are now scrambling to absorb billions of dollars in unexpected expenses. Airlines have cut thousands of flights, grounded older, less efficient planes, and have raised airfares. Further cancellations may be around the corner. Checking on your money this morning, stocks are rebounding from yesterday's losses. The fragile U.S.-Iran ceasefire is holding up after a day of clashes involving shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. S&P futures are up 23 points, Dow futures rising 115, and shares of Sonos are climbing after the audio brand reported that revenue has jumped 8%. But of note is its statement that it's filing for tariff refunds totaling $40 million. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, I mentioned that I was in Clayton yesterday. The MAC Clayton is getting some buzz. It seems like everywhere I go, people are asking me, how is it? What's it look like? How are things in there? Oh, man, it's good. It's the 14th and 15th floor of the Pierre Laclede Center. MAC Clayton has got some buzz for sure because the space is beautiful. First floor is a brand new looking bar with this room behind it is a cigar room with a big screen TV, views of downtown St. Louis. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. A casual restaurant on that level called Table 14, which is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then upstairs is the more formal dining room with a big piano in the lobby and a wine cellar. It's pretty phenomenal. The Missouri Athletic Club's done it again. They also have the family-friendly MAC West. And, of course, the traditional building, the 11-story building in downtown St. Louis that is a hub of activity, the Missouri Athletic Club at 405 Washington Avenue. MAC-STL.org.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons,
Yep.
decorations,
Yes.
streamers, cups, table covers?
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy two, get one free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best party started at Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is 6:40. It is getting darker and windier in downtown St. Louis. We'll have the forecast from Joe Lundberg for you in just a moment. But first, let's see what's happening on the roadways. At least you don't have sun in your eyes this morning, so that's good, I guess. Rogers in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, no sun and dry roads would be the optimal, but at least, like you said, there's no sun. This traffic reports the service of I-3 broadband, but I know there's rain showers in the area, so just be careful. Haven't heard of any issues related to it so far, but we do have slow traffic, even if it's not weather-related. North 55 north of Richardson to the Merrimack is slow. It backs up from the Union Road overpass up through to about Weber, still slow to Loughborough. North 270 north of 55, most of the way to 44 is pretty busy, and then Big Bend up to Manchester, and then a brief slowdown through 64 and Ladue after that. Southbound 61 from Highway P down onto 64 through Prospect. It opens up before you get to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and after that, you're in the clear. Eastbound 70 looks great from coming in out to west in the Wentzville area. And on the Illinois side, there's more volume now. Westbound 64 west of 50 through 159, and after that, it's just a little slow across the Poplar. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're springing forward with our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It looks nasty out there. What's the story today?
Next hour or two is going to be the worst of it for the morning hours. Mostly rain with thunder and lightning and some downpours. Been some small hail, but this is not severe stuff, and there's some gusty winds. And temperatures have fallen a few degrees just since we spoke a little over an hour ago. And it's going to be drying out later this morning, only for another round of rain with some embedded thunder to come through during the afternoon and evening hours. Again, that means the morning commute is going to be sacrificed to these wet roads. And the same thing again for this afternoon and this evening. Through it all, we're not budging from the 50s. Then overnight tonight, it'll start to dry out by morning. We're going to be down in the upper 40s. Tomorrow, really not much better, at least in terms of cloudiness. There's going to be plenty of that. However, precipitation will be hard to come by. At best, a shower. Our high only 60. Some sunshine for Thursday. We rebound to 67. Mid-70s Friday with sun to start, then clouds increase, maybe an afternoon shower. Partly sunny, warm for the start of the weekend. The high near 80. It's raining 52 at St. Peter's and in Florissant, down to 58 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is going on 6:43, and there are fresh signs the fragile U.S.-Iran ceasefire could crumble. Iran's top negotiator with the U.S. says his country has not even started in its standoff over the Strait of Hormuz.
The Pentagon says the U.S. fired on Iranian forces and sank 6 small boats that had been targeting civilian ships only after at least 2 American-flagged merchant ships sailed out of the Strait of Hormuz. Here's the BBC's Jeremy Bowen on the dueling agendas.
America's strategic bind is they need to get that strait open. The Iranians want to show that they're going to keep it closed or at least controlled. And this is a time for steady and calm leadership in Tehran and in Washington.
More on the cruise ship where 3 people have died and 2 more sickened.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. That cruise ship with deadly hantavirus present has been refused disembarkation at its destination, Cape Verde. The World Health Organization's Nika Alexander.
It will be sailing onwards to the Canary Islands, so we're coordinating with Spanish authorities to see how the passenger and crew can be managed when they get to the Canaries.
Still not clear how and when the affected passengers were exposed to the virus, whose incubation period can be a few days or as long as 8 weeks. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
The Department of Education has the all-women Smith College in its sights for admitting transgender women. CBS News Boston's Paula Eben.
A complaint filed last year claims that the all-women's school violated Title IX policy by admitting transgender students. Title IX allows colleges to enroll single-sex student bodies. However, the Department of Education says that only applies to students' biological sex, not their gender identity. They claim this creates privacy and safety concerns for biologically female students. A spokesperson for Smith College tells the Globe they are committed to their mission and values and comply with civil rights laws.
The 2026 Pulitzer Prizes have been announced, honoring top journalism and the arts. Here's CBS's Stacey Lynn.
The Washington Post won the prestigious Public Service Award for its reporting on the Trump administration's sweeping cuts to federal agencies. Reuters earned 2 for coverage of Trump's campaign of political retribution and for investigations into Meta's harmful AI chatbot. And 3 prizes went to the New York Times, including for its probes into how Trump, his family, and allies have profited from the presidency.
Who's Hot, Who's Not? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting, Growing Gardens, and Making Memories. Notice that the Chicago Cubs are hot. They won in walk-off fashion last night. They beat the Cincinnati Reds. Final score was 5-4, a walk-off home run by Michael Conforto after they had tied it in the 9th with a sac fly. The Cubs only had 6 hits on the day at Wrigley Field, but that was enough. 5-4 win over the Reds, and they've won now 6 in a row. They have a 2-game lead in the NL Central, but look out, the team right on their heels in their rearview mirror, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, man. You know, if you walk JJ, like nothing against JJ, he's a lefty. He's also a rookie, you know. I also hit well in tight position.
He is a very confident guy. That's Ivan Herrera says he hits well in those situations. Here he is, 4th inning, bases loaded.
Base is full, and the pitch to Herrera is lined towards left center field, and that is over the head of the outfielders and off the wall. 1 run scores, 2 runs score. Here comes a runner from first, play at the plate, not in time. A 3-run double for Ivan Herrera. And it's 4-0 St. Louis.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Like I said, I've been hitting behind JJ. It's just unbelievable. He takes professional at bats. Big today, really good swings. You know, you're seeing the adjustment he's making every day. Like yesterday, I saw in the cage working one-on-one with Casey, and I was like, "You want to hit?" He's like, "No, I just want to watch you work." You know, I want to see my teammates have success. I think whenever you play like that and you want to see other people have success, I think that's when the chemistry get together and it's good, you know, and everybody push each other to be better. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we want. And, you know, we have a great group of guys here.
Ivan Herrera is talking very highly of his teammate, J.J. Weatherholt there, calling him a student of the game. Weatherholt was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Herrera was 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Top 2 spots in the order last night against the Brewers were a combined 4 for 9 with 5 RBIs, and the Cardinals won the game 6-3 over Milwaukee. Cardinals got a good start, a sneaky good start out of Kyle Leahy. He pitched 5 1/3. He allowed just 1 run on 6 hits, walked 2, struck out 5, and then the bullpen took over from there. Soriano, Romero, Stanek, all of them pitching scoreless outings. Gordon Graceffo, a rare blip, as he's had a phenomenal season, but he gives up 2 runs in his 3rd of an inning, and then Riley O'Brien cleaned it up with his 10th save, and the Cardinals win another one, 6-3 over the Brewers. The Cardinals are 2 games out, and they have 2nd place in the Central all to themselves. We'll have the game tonight at 6:45. It'll be Andre Polante starting for the 21-14 St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers are in last place in the NL Central, but with a very respectable record of 18-16. We'll get to the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs coming up at 7:15. For right now, we're going to tell you about St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. St. Louis Composting, great company, great idea is to drop by one of their 9 locations with your pickup truck or your trailer and just load up soil, compost, or mulch. They have it all for you at St. Louis Composting, 9 locations in the St. Louis area. Now, an even better idea, if you don't have a truck or a trailer like me, you just go to stlcompost.com and they'll deliver to you. You don't know how much you need? Easy. Cubic yards calculator at the top of the website. That'll help you right along. You just put in the dimensions of the areas where you want the mulch, and they'll tell you how much mulch you need, and they'll bring it right to you. Refresh your entire landscape with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds and around your trees. That's the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com. Growing gardens, making memories.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 6:51, so let's get the latest on traffic and weather. It looks like a stormy morning still. Let's see if that's impacting your ride in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Here's Roger Brand.
Yeah, it's raining pretty steadily right now, Debbie, what I'm looking at, which is northbound 270. It looks like there might be a crash. It's sort of hard to see through the rain, but or at least a stall in the left lane. Northbound 270 just immediately north of Doherty Ferry. So if you're northbound on 270 right now, you've got slow traffic, rain slowed, I guess we'll say, from 55 up through 44, a jam up Big Bend through Doherty Ferry, but then it remains slow most of the way up to Ladue. Also a minor crash in the right lane, westbound 70 before you get to Earth City 141. Traffic is slowing those right lanes back onto the 270 ramps. Eastbound Highway 70, heavy traffic from A to K. That's the worst. But southbound 61 north of P down onto 64 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard is heavy. Northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack, you've got slow traffic, and again from Bayless up to River to Pear, it's heavy in westbound 64, 50 through 159, and then just busy on the Poplar after that. Next update is 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. Ready to refresh your space with furniture that's built to last? The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
We have rain covering pretty much the entire area right now, and AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says that's what we're going to see today. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm or two, much cooler than yesterday. Temperatures holding nearly steady into the mid to upper 50s. Looks like that rain will go away for a period of time later this morning, but we do have some more in the forecast for today. Tonight, cloudy with some rain early, then a shower late, low 47. Tomorrow, a stray shower, cool, high 60. 57 right now.
It is 6:53, and at least 3 people are dead, 3 more seriously ill following a suspected outbreak of the hantavirus aboard a cruise ship in the Atlantic. We get more from KMOX's health editor, Fred Bottomer.
Hantavirus is a respiratory illness that is usually spread by contact with urine or feces from infected rodents, in many cases mice. This is the same disease that caused the death of actor Gene Hackman's wife last year. Dr. Farron Mannion is an infectious diseases physician at Mercy St. Louis.
It is a potentially deadly disease. It can kill up to about 40% of people who get it. So it's definitely not something to look at very lightly.
There is no treatment for the illness, just supportive therapy. While rare, it's most commonly found in the United States and western parts of the country. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The Illinois Department of Public Health says there's good news about vaccinations for students across the state.
Illinois' school vaccination coverage dashboard tracks immunization rates in the current school year for 11 different school-required childhood vaccinations at more than 4,600 Illinois schools, grades pre-K through 12. The IDPH says the rates this year for 10 of the vaccines are above the 95% goal, with only hepatitis B being slightly below the threshold. Roger Plummer, News Radio, 105.9 WBBM.
The banning of energy drinks by at least 2 Missouri school districts has the approval of a Missouri medical researcher. Dr. Denise Wilfley is professor of psychological and brain studies and pediatric medicine at Washington University.
We know that those energy drinks, the consumption can lead to arrhythmias, hypertension, so it's very problematic.
Dr. Wilfley also says the high caffeine amounts can contribute to existing sleep deprivation problems for preteens and teens. Purdy and Plato R5 school districts in southern Missouri have banned energy drinks from school property.
In the U.S., businesses like to use this day to push drinks and food, promoting it as a party. But CBS News radio correspondent Jennifer Kuiper says that's far from what Cinco de Mayo is.
Cinco de Mayo, or May 5th, marks the anniversary of the Battle of Puebla in 1862. The Mexican army faced a huge challenge, the description in the 2013 movie Cinco de Mayo, The Battle.
Es imposible.
Translation, it's impossible. Not so. Even outnumbered, the Mexican army achieved an unlikely defeat of French forces under the leadership of Mexican General Ignacio Zaragoza Seguin. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Big birthday for 2 of the best tennis players in the world. She has won the Australian Open twice, the U.S. Open twice. He has won the U.S. Open twice, Wimbledon twice, French Open twice, and Australian Open once. She is Aryna Sabalenka. She's 28 today, and he is Carlos Alcaraz, who is only 23 today after all of those accomplishments.
Wow. The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. If you have a birthday or anniversary you would like announced in this segment, just email it to totalam@kmox.com. Totalam. Don't forget to put the day that you want it announced. In O'Fallon, Illinois, happy birthday wishes going out to Tom Goller and Barbara Anthony. Also, happy birthday, Alan Gardner, John Chapas, Benjamin Hockman, and Brandy Reichert.
Birthday, Alan.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is your financial advisor working more for your retirement or for his? Find out the real story behind the financial industry with Greg Ayler, Saturdays at 1 on Fire, Your Financial Advisor.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Roger Brand, not ideal driving conditions right now. Overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Nah, it's a little wet for everybody, Tom, although the showers aren't as intense on North 270 around Doherty Ferry now, so I can better see it's a stall. Police are behind it. Left lane's blocked. North 270 just immediately north of Doherty Ferry, or at least partially blocked. Traffic is slow back just north of 55 up to that point. After that, just 64 to Ladue. If you're coming in on eastbound 70, A and through Bryan Road is the busiest part. Southbound 61, stop and go pockets from Highway P down to 64, and it's slow through Prospect. It's slow between Clarkson and Timberlake, and at the Interbelt northbound 55, you got heavy traffic north of Richardson up to the Merrimack and again at Bayless. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A shaky ceasefire could be crumbling as the U.S. and Iran trade fire and insults after President Trump's new mission began to escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz.
They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment.
Iran attacked an energy facility in the United Arab Emirates. Correspondent Holly Williams has more from Tel Aviv.
Rahman Kapoor is the captain of an oil tanker stranded in the Persian Gulf. It must feel as if your fate is not in your own hands.
Not at all.
President Trump warned in an interview yesterday that Iran would be blown off the face of the earth if it attacks U.S. ships in the Strait of Hormuz. A senior Iranian official posted on social media this morning that Iran is, quote, just getting started.
Gas prices are up another couple of cents from yesterday to an average $4.48 a gallon. In California, it's at $6.13. If the strait stays closed into summer, Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan predicts
it would probably lead to gasoline that rises from $6.50 to $7 a gallon. It could lead to diesel that is approaching $8.50 or $9.
Oil prices have slid to $113 a barrel. The search is intensifying for 2 U.S. soldiers who disappeared in the water off Morocco during a hike to watch the sunset. CBS's Chris Livesay reports from Tantan.
A U.S. defense official tells CBS News the military is deploying a P-8 Poseidon surveillance aircraft from Italy to help scan the coastline. Moroccan forces are also sending divers into coastal caves.
Officials say one soldier fell in, the other jumped in to try to save him, but he was hit by a big wave. There are conflicting statements this morning on whether a cruise ship quarantined off West Africa after an outbreak of deadly hantavirus will be heading to Spain's Canary Islands. At least 3 passengers have died. The WHO's Maria von Kerkhoff.
They were doing, a lot of things with wildlife. So our assumption is they were infected off the boat and then joined the cruise.
Many of this year's Pulitzer Prizes go to journalists and news outlets that zeroed in on the administration. CBS's Stacey Lynn has details.
The Washington Post won the Public Service Award for reporting on the Trump administration's federal government overhaul. Reuters took 2 awards, including national reporting on the president's political retribution campaign and investigations into Meta. And 3 went to the New York Times, including investigative reporting on Trump and his allies.
Dow futures are up 155. NASDAQ futures ahead 169. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft shoes, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, girl.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
It is 7:04. We've got rain falling again in downtown St. Louis, and right now it is 55 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Increased tensions at the Strait of Hormuz. Let's go to Defense Secretary. This is Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon with a live update.
Iran is the clear aggressor, harassing civilian vessels, threatening mariners from every nation indiscriminately, and weaponizing a critical choke point for its own financial benefit, or at least trying to. For too long, Iran has been harassing ships, shooting at civilian tankers from all nations, and trying to impose a tolling system. Iran's plan, a form of international extortion, is unacceptable. That ends with Project Freedom. 2 U.S. commercial ships, along with American destroyers, have already safely transited the strait, showing the lane is clear. We know the Iranians are embarrassed by this fact. They said they control the strait. They do not. So American ships led the way, commercial and military, shouldering the initial risk from the front, as Americans always do. And right now, hundreds more ships from nations around the world are lining up to transit. CENTCOM, along with partner nations, is in active communication with hundreds of ships, shipping companies, and insurers. All of these ships from all around the world want to get out of the Iranian trap that they have been stuck inside. As a direct gift from the United States to the world, we have established a powerful red, white, and blue dome over the strait. American destroyers are on station, supported by hundreds of fighter jets, helicopters, drones, and surveillance aircraft, providing 24/7 overwatch for peaceful commercial vessels. Except Iran's, of course, which is why our ironclad blockade remains in full effect as well. In fact, 6 ships tried to run the blockade out of Iranian ports as Project Freedom commenced, and they were all turned around. This is more than strategy, it's also humanitarian. By breaking Iran's illegal stranglehold, we're protecting the lives and livelihoods of sailors from dozens of countries, securing global routes, and preventing shortages that hit the world's poorest people the hardest. Once again, America is using its strength to lift up others. Iran is trying to subjugate the world. To what remains of Iran's forces, if you attack American troops or innocent commercial shipping, you will face overwhelming and devastating American firepower. The president has been very clear about this. We prefer this to be a peaceful operation, but are locked and loaded to defend our people, our ships, our aircraft, and this mission without hesitation. To Iran, let innocent ships pass freely. These international waters belong to all nations, not to Iran to tax, toll, or control. To our partners, allies, and the rest of the world, this is a temporary mission for us. As I've said before, the world needs this waterway a lot more than we do. We're stabilizing the situation so commerce can flow again, but we expect the world to step up. At the appropriate time and soon, we will hand responsibility back to you. To the incredible Americans executing this mission right now, simply thank you. Your courage, your readiness, your unmatched professionalism and precision are why the world can breathe easier today and every day. You are and always will be the greatest fighting force in human history, unmatched always. Project Freedom is underway. Commerce will be flowing And America is once again leading with strength, clarity, and purpose for the benefit of the entire world. Our will is unshakable. God bless our troops, and God bless the mighty United States Navy as well. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. On Sunday, at the direction of the President, CENTCOM initiated Project Freedom with the objective of facilitating the safe passage of international commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Over the past 7 weeks, Iran's repeatedly threatened and attacked commercial shipping in the Strait in order to effectively cut off commercial traffic and damage the global economy. By obstructing one of the world's most critical maritime checkpoints, a vital transit route for approximately 1/5 of the global oil consumption, Iran is weaponizing the global supply chain. This action disregards established navigational rights and the law of the sea, and the regime led by the IRGC is effectively attempting to hold the entire global economy hostage. Let me give you an update of the last few days of activities, and if you take a look at the map here, as the Secretary said, the United States has established Project Freedom to open up the Strait of Hormuz. This graphic highlights the kinetic engagements that the Iranians have attempted to make or have taken against the region. The green dots and blue dots show the groupings of commercial, cargo, and tanker vessels. And the United States has established a significant presence over the strait here in order to open up the free flow of commerce, noting the blockade still continues along the eastern flank.
That is General Dan Kane, the Joint Chiefs Chairman. Earlier, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, an update on the Iran war. We'll keep our eyes on that from CBS as well. They'll have updates throughout the day. It's 7:10.
Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, they made quick work of that stall, thankfully. We had northbound 270 north of Doherty Ferry. It's cleared. Traffic still bogged down from 55 to 44, jammed from 44 up to about Big Bend, and then it's slow to Manchester. Those ramps from east and west 64 getting onto North 270 bumper to bumper into that work zone at Ladue. Southbound 61, Highway P down to the 64 through Prospect is busy. There's a little slowdown around Research Park. It's slow Clarkson to Timberlake and right at the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker out to Hanley. That's busy. South 170, a couple of slowdowns from Ladue. The bulk of the volume eastbound 70 is Lake St. Louis to about Highway K. It's still heavy at TR Hughes and Earth City into the Rock Road. 364 through Junk Station looks a little slow in the right lanes through Bennington. Northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack still have delays, and it's still bogged down from north of Bayless, but it runs all the way up through Virginia. Stop and go pockets westbound 64 from 50 through 159, and then again it's still slow just across the Poplar. Next update is 7:20 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather today will be cloudy with periods of rain and a thunderstorm or two, much cooler than yesterday. Temperature will hold nearly steady in the mid to upper 50s. Tonight, cloudy with some rain early, perhaps a shower late, though 47. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and cool. There can be a shower in spots, the high just 60. Thursday, sunshine and some clouds, the high 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, rain falling throughout the St. Louis area. It's 56 degrees downtown at the Arch.
St. Louis police releasing information about a rash of car break-ins that happened over the weekend during the Cardinals games. Detectives stopped 5 juveniles in the 900 block of North 10th Street. A 14-year-old boy found in possession of a handgun that had been stolen from a car break-in the night before. That minor eventually released to a parent.
4 other juveniles were found in possession of rocks that police say could be used to break vehicle windows, but were not in possession of any stolen items. All juveniles were transported to their guardians by detectives and released.
There's a critical need for St. Louis police officers, so a unique hiring blitz is taking place today.
Candidates can apply, test, and interview all in the same day at the Police Academy on Tucker Boulevard. This has never been done before. It starts at 8, and this one-day hiring blitz will work to fill a critical officer shortage. The department has lost several hundred officers over the past few years and is now down to 843. Starting salary is just over $56,000. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
Cardinals are hot. Sports next. It's 7:13.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norm Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
A Mother's Day to remember. Join us May 9th and 10th at Warm Springs Ranch for the Budweiser Clydesdale's Parade of Champions, a never-before open-to-the-public chance to see our majestic stallions braided, polished, and showcased like true champions. Browse the gift shop and make a full day of it. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. Festivities run until 3 p.m. Enjoy live demonstrations and meet a Clydesdale up close. Tickets are limited. Go to warmspringsranch.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's hear our cut of the game, sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, and in the 4th inning last night of the Cardinals' 6-3 win over Milwaukee, Ricky had the big hit and the call.
Herrera be letting it go here. I think he will. 2-0. Base is full, and the pitch to Herrera is lined towards left center field, and that is over the head of the outfielders and off the wall. 1 run scores, 2 run score. Here comes a runner from first. Play at the plate, not in time. A 3-run double for Ivan Herrera, and it's 4-0 St. Louis.
Well, the Cardinals won last night. The win to Kyle Leahy. Riley O'Brien saved it. That was his 10th.
A complete victory for the Cardinals as they did a lot of things right. Good defense again. Victor Scott had a good day offensively. J.J. Weatherholt, a couple of RBIs, and O'Brien able to finish it off. The Cardinals bent a little bit at the end, but they scored 2 runs late. That helped.
We're on the air at 5:50 tonight. Andre Palante will make the start.
With more, KMOX's Matt Pauley.
Relentless has been a word often used to describe the 2026 Cardinals, and they show that in their 6-3 win against the Brewers. They record 11 hits and draw 4 walks, creating 10 at-bats with runners in scoring position. While they only get 2 hits in those situations, those hits help lead to enough runs to get the win. Manager Oliver Marmol really appreciates the at-bats his club is taking.
It's what we want to do. We want to just continue to add pressure regardless of what's going on. If we were down 6 today, I think our guys would have done the same exact thing. Just regardless of score, just be a tough at bat. I love the fact that we created a lot of opportunities, and then in points in that game, we were able to actually cash them in.
The Cardinals improved to 5-0 against NL Central opponents, and they've started 5-0 against divisional opponents for the first time since divisional play started in 1969. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Let's get a look at everything that happened in the playoffs and around sports. As the Cardinals played here, there was a lot happening around the country.
AP Sports, I'm Gethin Cool Ball. Jalen Brunson scored 27 of his 35 points in the first half, and the New York Knicks steamrolled the Philadelphia 76ers 137-98 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals.
It's turned into, obviously, big wins, but those attention to detail things are going to help us in the close ones as well, and we got to continue to stay focused.
Jamal Mosley has been fired as coach of the Orlando Magic after blowing a 3-1 series lead against the Pistons, who agreed to a contract extension with Coach J.B. Bickerstaff. Stanley Cup playoffs, Taylor Hall slipped the puck past Dan Vladar at 18:54 of overtime to help the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Philadelphia Flyers 3-2, taking a 2-0 lead in their second-round series. And MLB, two-time AL Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal will have surgery to remove loose bodies from his elbow after being scratched from Monday's start against Boston. Gethin Coolbaugh, AP Sports.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to Supplement Superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, obviously we have heavy traffic in spots this morning. The weather is not doing you any favors, but it's not out of hand, but it's still slow. Northbound 55 from north of Richardson, it actually goes all the way up to about Merrimack Bottom, and then stop-and-go pockets from the Union Road overpass all the way up through Virginia. On northbound Telegraph from like Herb up to Pottle looks pretty congested right now. North 270 slow. 55 to Gravois jam from Gravois to 44. Then it opens up a bit. We had that stall earlier at Doherty Ferry. It's been cleared, but Big Bend all the way to Ladue is pretty busy. South 273, 64 to Ladue slower. Eastbound 70, east of A or approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard all the way in through TR Hughes. A couple of spots, 94 into the Earth City area. Southbound 61 backs up in pockets. North of Highway P down to 64. Through to about the Boulevard, east of Boone's Crossing to almost Timberlake, and then at the Intervelt's slow from Delmar to 64, westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley. You've got delays. Westbound 64 on the Illinois side is jammed from 50 through 159, and then slow stuff at a couple of spots from Ball Avenue headed for the Poplar. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
We are seeing a lot of rain in the area right now. In downtown where we are, not as much, very, very light, but to the north of us, Florissant, Ferguson, Granite City on the east side getting soaked at the moment, down in Oakville as well. And we're seeing rain pick back up in Chesterfield down into Baldwin right now. As for today, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says periods of rain and a thunderstorm, much cooler than yesterday. Temperatures in the upper 50s. That's about as warm as we'll get tonight. Cloudy with some rain early, perhaps a shower late, low 47. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and cool with a stray shower and a high of 60. Currently in downtown St. Louis, it's cloudy and 54 at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:22. Budget week has arrived at the Missouri Capitol. State lawmakers working to send a final version of the state's $50 billion spending plan to the governor's desk. State Representative Betsy Fogel of Springfield is among the Democratic lawmakers appointed to help hammer out the finished product.
My hope is always that we walk out of that room with a better version of the budget that we're going into it too. I'm hopeful that we can take some of the Senate positions on items that are important to myself and my caucus.
For example, the Senate reversed the Missouri House's decision to fund universities based on enrollment. That could have stripped millions in funding from Truman State and Harris-Stowe and Lincoln universities. The legislature has until Friday at 6 p.m. to send next year's proposed budget to the governor's desk.
You can now watch 4 fuzzy peregrine falcon chicks that just hatched in Franklin County, Missouri. The online Falcon Cam is focused on a peregrine falcon family nesting in a specially made box installed on a stack at an Ackerman, Missouri Energy Center.
KMOX's Megan Lynch spoke with Jeff Messick, Deputy Director at the World Bird Sanctuary, and Julianne Randazzo, Career Environmental Scientist at Ackerman, Missouri.
The female is the major nest protector. With falcons especially, the female falcon is considerably larger than the male falcon. And one of the theories is because she is the major nest protector and a bigger body gives her probably more ability to fend off a would-be predator. So from time of hatching until time of fledging, you can probably say an average of about 45 days. The males might fledge, which just means leave the nest, and they take their first flight from the nest. They might leave around 40 days, and the females a little bit later than that, maybe up to 50 days.
What kinds of behaviors should we be watching for, those of us watching the Falcon Cam, that you think might be unusual or interesting?
Oh, gosh. It's always interesting for me to see what prey species the adults bring in to the nest. And at first, at least, it's hard to know because, first of all, peregrines eat almost strictly other birds, which they catch in mid-flight. And when the male brings in the first, couple of weeks worth of prey, the prey is completely plucked, so it's hard to tell what prey species the male is bringing in. And he does, again, most of the hunting, while the chicks are young like that, and they still need the mom's warmth to survive. He does most of the hunting, and then once the chicks can regulate their own body heat, which is around 10 days or so, then mom will go out and start catching prey too. And probably around day 15 or so, they start bringing prey in that has its feathers on it. And the theory there is so that the chicks get to know the prey that they will eventually hunt when they become start hunting on their own.
Mm-hmm. And feeding time is one of my favorite times. It's really interesting to see when the adult takes the shreds of meat and feeds each of the mouths of the chicks. And sometimes you'll even see like one chick maybe gets a little bit more than the other chick. But then as they kind of grow up, they all appear to be similar in size. And, the nesting box just offers a safe home. And it's a great opportunity for the falcons to have a healthy, population and for the next generation.
The chicks will be banded before they fly so they can be tracked once they're out of the nest. You can hear more about the Ackerman Falcon Watch web stream in the 8 o'clock hour here on KMOX.
And there have been more than 60 reports in Missouri of the invasive jumping worm, also known as the Alabama jumper or snake worm.
They seem to have really aggressive behavior. They will wriggle or jump off the ground when they're startled or when they're handled. And so that's kind of it's one of the reasons they have been given the name jumping worm or red wrigglers.
Angela Sokolowski with the Department of Conservation says they're not beneficial like regular earthworms because they don't aerate the soil. Instead, they eat the top layer of organic matter, drying it out and curbing nutrients for plants.
She says prevention is the best weapon. So don't transport mulch, soil, or potted plants, and don't spray pesticides or chemicals on them because you're impacting all the creatures in the soil, not just them.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
For 20 years now, my family has been working with the Laterman Law Firm. One of the things I really appreciate is that I didn't just work with one person, I worked with a team. You know, this is something people don't realize about estate planning. The documents alone are not enough. Several different people there have worked with us over the years, and you can tell right away, Laterman Law Firm is a true team, from the lawyers to the paralegals to the legal assistants. Everyone knows our plan. Everyone is working towards the same goal. You never feel like you're being handed off and forgotten. A major part of that is their dedicated funding team at the Laterman Law Firm. They help make sure that your assets and your beneficiaries are actually lined up with your plan, your accounts, your property, all of it working together the way it's supposed to. That's how it's supposed to be. The Laterman Law Firm's team walks you through that process. I highly recommend them. If you're in St. Louis and you want an estate plan that actually works, check out the Laterman Law Firm at latermanlaw.com or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, May 6th and May 7th. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It is 7:30. It is windy and rainy out there right now. 53 degrees, feels like 44. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We do have some volume out there. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, Tom, we do. It's definitely getting busier. In fact, North 270 is really starting to jam up now. It's slow as you ramp on from 55, but it's bumper to bumper before you reach Tesson Ferry. That goes all the way up to 44, just crawling, and then it's still slow from there all the way up to Ladue. South 270 is not bad, just both sides of 364, a little busy at this time. Eastbound 70, the bulk of the volume is east of A through TR Hughes, approaching 94 into 270. That's all slow. Stop and go pockets on southbound 61, north of Highway P down onto 64, busy to the Boulevard, Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake, and east of Lindbergh through the Innerbelt. The Innerbelt slow from Olive to 64. Westbound 64 backs up Science Center through Clayton's Kinker, but slow all the way to Hanley. Eastbound 70 in the city, you've got some backed up traffic from that's westbound 70 from the Shreve area out through Bircher toward Goodfellow. Looks like around Union we may have a problem. On the Illinois side, it's bumper to bumper again, solid. Westbound 64, 50 through 159, then slow pockets from Baugh headed across the Poplar Street Bridge. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a stormy morning, so we do have showers and thunderstorms moving through. It's going to be not much warmer, if at all, than it is right now. We'll be in the mid to upper 50s. The temperature has dropped about 5 degrees, though, as we've gone through the morning. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little warmer with a high of 60 and a stray shower. Then sun and clouds Thursday with a high of 67. It is 53 out there right now.
It's 7:32. St. Louisans got a jolt yesterday when tornado sirens sounded citywide and during a storm, but with no warning attached. KMOX's Michael Calhoun questioned the fire chief on how this could happen.
The city tests its sirens the first Monday of the month, but a last-minute decision to cancel set off a chain reaction. KMOX asked Fire Chief Dennis Jankerson, why go into the system 1 minute before? It had the potential for rainy weather today, well before a minute before the test.
Well, I guess the weather had ramped up a little bit, and
I was of the opinion that we were going to go forward with the test, but it was decided not to do it.
That decision, made with just about 60 seconds to spare, is what triggered the cascade 2.5 hours later. When did you find out that the sirens had sounded? What was the reaction then?
Well, I was sitting in my office when they came off, and they activated it. We went downstairs, and it actually said it was the monthly test going off. So that's when we, as we went into the system, we pretty much made the assumption that it had already queued up. And when we took it offline, once we put it back online an hour and a half later, it finished its queue.
When asked about St. Louis and saying they got caught by surprise.
People are aware of the test every month on the first Monday at 11 o'clock.
But that's at 11. This was at 1:30.
Right. There's a 1:30, right, but they are aware.
The siren company, GTSI, was already in town upgrading the sirens themselves, and now it's looking at the computer code too. Right now, only about 52 of the 60 sirens are active, by the way. The chief hopes it'll all be up and running by the end of May. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It is 7:34. We'll get you updated on your money report coming up next. And then
All Access with Marmol on the Gas House Gang.
I think St. Louis likes watching a team that plays the game the right way, that plays the game hard, that never gives in. And those are the things we can control, and we'll hold ourselves, I'll hold myself accountable to, and then let everything else play out. But I think it's hard not to like this group. It's hard to watch them and not get excited about their style of play. Those are the things we can control at the moment.
Ollie Marmol, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. You start keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
It's 7:36. Your money report is sponsored by UC Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Nearly half of Americans are saying no way to data centers in their backyards. According to a survey by Redfin, 47% of folks oppose the construction of an artificial intelligence data center in their neighborhood, while 38% support it. The U.S. has more than 3,000 AI data centers, with thousands more in development as demand for AI surges. They're controversial because they strain electricity and water resources, which increases energy costs. Checking on your money this morning, calm is returning to the Persian Gulf following a flare-up in hostilities yesterday. Stock futures are on the rise this morning, recovering from yesterday's losses. And Dell Technologies is asking shareholders to approve relocating its legal home from Delaware to Texas. The board wants shareholders to okay the move at the company's annual meeting on June 25th. Dell points out that this will align its state of incorporation with its long-standing center of operations in the Lone Star State. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Our Idea is Ready to Launch vision. This is the Create Great Jobs vision. This is the We Need More Space vision. This is Busey, where your business visions become realizations through securing capital for growth and comprehensive strategies that ensure a prosperous future. Because thriving businesses mean thriving people and thriving communities. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
You guys know Zero Res, the zero residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys and skip the do-it-yourself disasters that leave your carpet soaked for days and can do more harm than good. Keep the mud outside where it belongs, not trapped in your carpets. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet, zero resified, starting at just $139. 314-474-2020 or visit ZeroResSTL.com. Ask for the DGS special.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-ALL-4s. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourIDoc.com.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
We have a good Gas House Gang coming. Ollie Marble will be with us today at noon with Chris Ranji and Bernie Nicholas. The news was sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Well, we had some really dark clouds moving through downtown St. Louis just a few moments ago. It seems like it's brightened up just a tad, but it's still pretty windy out there. We'll get the latest weather for you coming up in just a moment. But let's see if there are any new problems cropping up or old ones that haven't gone away. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, lots of slow traffic in general, Debbie. This traffic report is the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. In fact, it looks like we have an incident eastbound 364 at K. It's jammed about midway back to Bryan Road. Heavy traffic on eastbound 70. There's a little busy traffic around Wentzville Parkway, but the bulk of it's A in through K, and then from 94 into 270. Southbound 61 south of P down onto 64 to the Boulevard, Boone's Crossing to Timberlake, east of Lindbergh in through the Interbelt, westbound 64 Science Center to Hanley. We want to talk about our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route, the best interstate into town right now. That really doesn't have many delays. It's going to be 44. Now, it is slow, approaching 141 on a couple of spots to the Merrimack, but east to 270, it's wide open. But these other highways I just mentioned, 64, eastbound 70 has heavy traffic from 94 into 270, like I said, and then there's heavy traffic again from about Jennings Station all the way around the bend and through the city. Westbound coming out West Florissant through that area is pretty heavy. Northbound 55, of course, you're a little slow north of Richardson up to Merrimack Bottom, and it's jammed again from the Union Road overpass all the way up through Virginia. Westbound 64 jammed 50 through 159. It's still slow on 55, 70, and 64 at that merge point headed through 3rd Street toward the bridge. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg, once this wave of rain gets through, what else do we have in store today?
Cool weather and clouds throughout the day. Temperatures aren't getting out of the 50s, and there's going to be another round of rain with some embedded thunder that comes through this afternoon. And into the evening hours, it could be another half an inch of rain with that. And then that tapers off and goes away late tonight. And by morning, we're down to about 47. Tomorrow will be a better day, but it's still not going to be very bright. A lot of clouds around, really not much more than a shower. Our high only gets to about 60. The cool starts to ease back a little bit as we go into Thursday with some sunshine returning. Our high 67. Gets a breezy and warmer on Friday with sun giving way to more clouds and an afternoon shower or maybe thunder shower, the high 75. Right now, looks like Mother's Day will start partly sunny and warm with temperatures getting up to near 80 degrees. Turns cooler again on Sunday. Right now, it's down to 50 at St. Peter's with this rain, 49 at Florissant, raining 52 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:43, and a viral outbreak aboard a cruise ship in the Atlantic has left 3 people dead and at least 3 more seriously ill.
It's called the hantavirus and is spread by contact with urine or feces from infected rodents, mostly mice. Dr. Farron Mannion is an infectious diseases physician at Mercy St. Louis.
So there's really no specific antiviral drug that's been shown to be effective for this. It's all supportive treatment, and supportive treatment means give people fluids to get their blood pressure up and give people oxygen, and if needed, place them on ventilator to get them through the serious phase of the disease.
Dr. Mannion says hantavirus is fatal in 40% of the people who get it. While rare, it's most commonly found in the United States out west. This is the same disease that caused the death of actor Gene Hackman's wife last year. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Well, Sunrise Yoga has been pushed back another week due to rainy weather. It was set to return to Keener Plaza today, but the Gateway Arch Park Foundation's free Sunrise Yoga series will run every Tuesday starting next week through the end of September from 7 to 7:45 a.m. I would say this is probably not a very good day to have Sunrise Yoga in Keener.
Hard to do your downward dog when the wind is about to blow you over.
Yeah, I do think it's cool though, and my opinion, they should have more activities like that in downtown St. Louis just to get the day going, get people down here and get after it.
Yeah, they do. When the weather is decent, they have a lot of people out there doing Sunrise Yoga.
Yeah, it's very good. And what a cool scene for that. What an incredible backdrop. 7:45. It's, for the most part, good weather for baseball around these parts. We do have some delays here and there, but April was a good month. Mostly, we had some decent weather. And over the weekend, for the first weekend of May, really good crowds for the Cardinals and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Cardinals took 2 out of 3 in that one. And this time around, the Brewers came into town. The Cardinals got them too. Here's KMOX's Matt Pauley.
Kyle Leahy records his team-leading 4th win as he helps pitch the Cardinals to a 6-3 win against the Brewers. He allows just 1 run. He matches his career high with 5 1/3 innings pitched. Manager Oliver Marmol likes what he saw from Leahy.
If you look at his outing today, I thought the fastball played well, got some punch-outs with that. The sweeper was a good pitch for him. And third time through, a little bit more just harder contact, which led to us going to Story there to get out of that inning. But overall, I thought he gave us a pretty good look.
The 1 run allowed by Leahy is a season low. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
And Matt, the Cardinals supported him offensively. The biggest hit of the night was this one, 4th inning. Ivan Herrera.
Base is full, and the pitch to Herrera is lined towards left center field, and that is over the head of the outfielders and off the wall. 1 run scores, 2 runs score. Here comes a runner from first. Play at the plate, not in time. A 3-run double for Ivan Herrera. And it's 4-0 St. Louis.
Cardinals won the game 6-3 over the Brewers last night, and they take the first game of this series. 6:45 start tonight. It'll be Andre Palante on the hill for St. Louis this time. And look out, the Cardinals are hot again. They're in second place in the NL Central. They're 2 games back, trailing the Cubs. Cardinals in second all by themselves as the Reds have lost 4 in a row. The Cubs got the Reds last night. They scored 2 in the 9th, capped by a Michael Conforto walk-off home run. 5-4 the final. Cubs have won 6 in a row. Cardinals are 2 back, Reds 3 back. The Pirates sit 4 back, and the Brewers in town for this series against the Cardinals are in last place in the division. Even though they're 2 games over 500, they are 4.5 back in the NL Central. Checking the Stanley Cup playoffs, it was a victory for the Carolina Hurricanes. They won 3-2 in overtime over Philadelphia last night. Taylor Hall with the winner. And with that, the Canes go up 2-0 in that best-of-7 series. Vegas beat Anaheim 3-1. And the Golden Knights, a goal from Ivan Barbashev gave them a 2-1 lead. The former Blues forward, they win it 3-1, and they take a 1-0 series lead over the Ducks. The ins and outs are sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend. Innsbruck's great. Even on a rainy day, you could just stay on your screen-in porch if you have one of those at Innsbruck, one of those great homes you can rent there. Just kick back, let the rain fall, read a book, have a cup of coffee, and then this is great fishing weather. As soon as this rain gets out of there at Innsbruck, it'll probably be about 9 o'clock. Man, I would be out there so fast trying to get those fish after that water's been stirred up a little bit and they're active looking for breakfast. I'd be happy to catch a few of those. Innsbruck has great fishing. Innsbruck has great golf. Innsbruck has it all. They have hiking trails throughout the property, 7,500 acres. That's larger than most state parks in America. That is a monster. 7,500 acres, 100 plus lakes. Innsbruck is the spot. Innsbruck-resort.com to book your vacation. Innsbruck-resort.com. Let's go to our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be. Ooh, I nailed it for you yesterday, didn't I? I told you, Knicks, I had them minus 8.5. They won by 39 points. And then Minnesota, I told you, plus 10.5 at San Antonio. They beat San Antonio straight up, 104-102. So we got that one. So let's try tonight's and see how good we do. Detroit at home against Cleveland. Pistons are a 3-point favorite. I like the Pistons -3 there. They just re-signed their coach to a new deal. They're going to be all confident and happy. I like the Pistons -3 tonight. Lakers at Oklahoma City. Lakers are missing some people here. They're a 16-point dog. That is a lot of points on the road in the playoffs, but Oklahoma City is the real deal, and they are going to hand it to the Lakers tonight. I like the Thunder -16, and I like Detroit -3. Our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
On Saturday, May 16th, join KMOX and Grassroots Redeeming Love in commemorating 1 year since the historic EF3 tornado that devastated North St. Louis with a short morning of service. Volunteers will meet in the Kingsway East neighborhood from 9 to 11 to help clear tree limbs and trash. If interested in RSVPing for the cleanup or interested in donating to the effort, go to KMOX.com/events for more information.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 7:51 and it is windy and kind of dark out there right now. We'll have a forecast for you in just a second. It looks like it just started raining really hard again in downtown St. Louis. Roger Brand has the latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, everybody's got to slow down, Debbie. We'll try to get through this as quickly as we can. Eastbound 70, the worst of it is running from Highway A all the way into T.R. Hughes, east of Zumbell into 270 and Bermuda. In through Bircher, there's a crash westbound 70 right around Bircher, west of Union. So westbound 70 is backed up through Adelaide. Southbound 170, Frost down to 70, and then Olive down to 64 slow. South 270, 364 to 64 is busy. Eastbound 364, approaching K, most of the way to Mid Rivers from 94 Mugie over to 141 and Bennington to 270. You've got heavy stuff. Southbound 61 south of P, down onto 64 at the Boulevard. Boone's Crossing to Timberlake. From 270 all the way in through Big Bend, westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, and then Lindbergh out to 270. Slow north 270, stop and go pockets from 55 to Manchester. Slow to Ladue, 44 east of Antire into 270, and Big Bend all the way through Laclede Station is busy. North 55 north of Richardson to the Merrimack, it's jammed from Union up across River to Pear. A couple of pockets up toward Potomac Westbound 64 on the brakes, 50 to 159. And 5570 at 203, 64 at Ball Avenue to 3rd Street, and then heavy again on the Poplar, and Route 3's jamming north of Jerome. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have about an hour of rain left here, and then another wave coming through perhaps this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on everything, but periods of rain, says AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, and a thunderstorm or two. We know this. It's going to be cloudy and cool today. Temperatures are not going to escape the 50s today, mid to upper 50s for the high, says Joe. Tonight, cloudy with some rain early, shower late, low 47, high of 60 tomorrow with a stray shower. It's 54 right now.
The news continues on KMOX. The names of the two men involved in yesterday's Busch Stadium stabbing have not been disclosed. However, their ages have been released. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says officers got a call about 2:45 yesterday morning where they found a 27-year-old man suffering from a stab wound. He died on the scene near the south entrance of the stadium. City police identified the suspect as a 65-year-old man whom they say stabbed the victim after an argument. They say both of the men were identified as third-party contractors on the cleaning crew.
Preserving the citizen initiative process in Missouri is not a partisan issue. That's according to former Republican state legislator Bob Johnson. And president of Laborers Local 42, Matt Andrews, says it's about defending the will of the people, something everyone should be willing to stand up for.
Respect Mo Voters has submitted what it calls a record-breaking number of signatures for a constitutional amendment to stop Republicans in Jefferson City from messing with the initiative petition process. That number comes in at 367,000 signatures from every congressional district in the state. The amendment would preserve the right to petition, require ballot summaries to be clear and accurate, and make it harder for the legislature to change or undo what voters pass.
Cinco de Mayo is raising some red flags when it comes to drunk driving in the Show Me State. Tabitha Perkins is executive director of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. She says, according to nationwide statistics, on May 5th, the DWI arrests increased between 25 and 30% just on that day.
Then also you have to look at, say, in the St. Louis area or the Jefferson City or the Kansas City area, wrong-way drivers getting onto an interstate is so common these days. And unfortunately, the majority of the wrong-way drivers that are entering the interstates are of an impaired state.
Perkins says in Missouri alone, preliminary 2025 numbers show 910 traffic deaths, with roughly 15 to 18%, as many as 165 lives lost in crashes involving impaired driving.
Missouri is set to add hundreds of truck parking spaces along I-70.
The Missouri Department of Transportation says the project will add spaces in Odessa, Concordia, Boonville, Manola, and Wright City. It's being funded by $30 million worth of national grants. The move comes after the fatal Greyhound bus crash in 2023 on I-70 in Highland, Illinois. MoDOT says all of I-70's public truck parking areas and 75% of truck stops are over capacity during peak driving hours. A groundbreaking ceremony is set for Thursday in Columbia. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Lots of traffic out there. Roger Brand will sort it out for you in 2 minutes at 7:56.
Stan Musial, he missed a season in his prime to serve his country in the Navy.
Honor a legend on Saturday, May 16th, when the Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Fans can secure a Stan Musial military bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. This patriotic collectible celebrates Stan's Hall of Fame career and his service to our country. A true symbol of character on and off the field. A tribute worth displaying and remembering. Don't miss it. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Some Sundays are made for the water. Sunday, May 17th, as the Cardinals take on the Kansas City Royals, make it a ballpark day too. That day, you can score a Cardinals boat tote presented by Coca-Cola and Walmart. A classic summer bag that fits right in from the dock to the dugout. It's ready for long weekends, sunny afternoons, and whatever plans you have next. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Make Cinco de Mayo delicious with Easy Cater, the easiest way to order food from favorite restaurants for all your celebrations. From April 27th through May 5th, every order placed earns you 1,000 bonus rewards points. Whether you're looking for traditional favorites like tacos and tortas, festive options like a build-your-own nacho bar, or hosting a breakfast fiesta with huevos rancheros and breakfast burritos, Easy Cater makes food for Cinco de Mayo a cinch. Order now at easycater.com with promo code Cinco de Mayo 26. Restrictions apply. See offer details.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still slow on eastbound 70 from A to TR Hughes and 94 into 270. There's a crash. Westbound 70, another one this morning. Right lane blocked just before 141, so a little bit of a delay there in the city. Westbound 70 west of Union, there's an incident. Looks like in the left lane it's jammed to Adelaide, and eastbound Gawkers are backed up into Cool Valley. South 170 is delayed from Frost down to 70 and from Olive down to 64. North 270, 55 all the way up to Ladou's busy. If you're on eastbound 64, coming in from Boone's Crossing through Clarkson, Mason all the way in through 170, it's heavy. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have light rain, 54 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. Nationwide access to abortion pills is again in legal limbo. Megan Lynch gets the latest from a SLU health law professor after the news.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. A pair of peregrine falcons are raising fuzzy little chicks in the limelight. We'll tell you how you can watch them grow on the Falcon Cam.
How could AI impact the next generation of scientists? Listen at 8:40.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Rain at times today, along with a thunderstorm or two. Temperatures steady in the mid to upper 50s.
I'll be back at noon for the Gas House Gang. We have Ollie Marmol. He's going to be a happy man. They're playing well right now. Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, join me. See you then.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is addressing the new U.S. mission to escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz.
Is the ceasefire over?
No, the ceasefire is not over. Ultimately, this is a separate and distinct project, and we expected there would be some churn at the beginning, which happened. And we said we would defend aggressively, and we absolutely have.
Both sides exchanged fire yesterday when the mission began. Iran also attacked an energy facility in the United Arab Emirates. Tehran's top negotiator said this morning his country hasn't even started its standoff in the strait. New details on the demise of a budget air carrier. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Newly filed court documents reveal Spirit Management learned last Thursday the $500 million government lifeline was off the table. The cash-strapped airline had already burned through $100 million in additional fuel costs since March 1st, as the Iran war sent jet fuel prices soaring.
Gas prices in the U.S. are up another couple of cents today to an average $4.48 a gallon. We're hearing from some of the passengers stranded on a cruise ship off West Africa that was hit with a deadly case of hantavirus. Jake Ross-Marin's been vlogging about the disaster.
What's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people.
3 passengers have died. There are conflicting reports over whether the ship will be allowed to dock in Spain. You may want to pack a lunch if you're flying Delta. CBS's Stacey Lynn.
It will no longer offer snacks and drinks on hundreds of short flights. Starting May 19th, if your flight is under 350 miles, you won't be offered those sun chips or Biscoff cookies, and you won't have anything to sip on either. The move affects roughly 450 daily routes. Longer flights and first-class passengers are not impacted.
This year's Tony nominations just in.
She's never heard of corn pudding! When the church bells ring.
Schmigadoon is up for Best Musical. Its lead Sarah Chase for Best Performance by a Leading Actress.
Here for
Titanic, The Lost Boys, and Two Strangers are among the other three in the running for Best Musical. Leslie Manville, John Lithgow, Daniel Radcliffe also in contention for acting prizes. The awards will be handed out June 7th on CBS and Paramount+. They'll actually be awarded at Radio City Music Hall. Dow futures up 180. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning. This is a slam dunk.
So cute. Y'all came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
At 8:03, we have rain, 52 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, May 5th. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis police releasing information about a rash of car break-ins that happened over the weekend during the Cardinals game. Detectives stopped 5 juveniles in the 900 block of North 10th Street and a 14-year-old boy found in possession of a handgun that was stolen from a car break-in the night prior. The other 4 juveniles were found in possession of rocks that police say could be used to break vehicle windows, but were not in possession of any stolen items. All juveniles were transported to their guardians by detectives and released. Tornado sirens turned heads across St. Louis yesterday during a storm, even though no severe warning had been issued.
Every first Monday of the month, the city tests its tornado sirens at 11 a.m. With rainy weather moving through, St. Louis County scrubbed its test, and the city decided to follow, but the computer did not get that memo in time.
It appears that when we discontinued the test with just, a minute and a half to go before the computer went into its testing program, that the program had already began to run and it started to activate all the sirens. So we manually shut it down. It happened because it was already in the queue. The computer held it.
Chief Dennis Jankerson tells KMOX it wasn't just one person at the controls when the decision was made to cancel.
There was 4 or 5 of us inside the dispatch center when we were watching them bring the system down.
And the fire chief says the vendor working on siren upgrades was already in town and is now taking a look.
It appears to be a programming glitch. We have the company that is doing all the upgrades. They're on their way in here to review the computer program and make sure we didn't, and we'll eliminate that issue.
The city is still in the middle of upgrading its full network of 60 tornado sirens. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Clair County residents flooded social media yesterday asking why sirens sounded with no tornado warning. National Weather Service meteorologist in charge Brian Haynes says the concern about people tuning out is real.
I think we're always all concerned about that. Sure. Both of our agencies think about that quite a bit.
St. Clair County defended the call, saying Smithton police confirmed a possible tornado near the school and waiting wasn't an option. A proposal for a data center on the former campus of Emerson in Ferguson rejected last night by the Ferguson City Council in a 3-3 vote with 1 abstention. The plan before them was $1.5 billion in tax breaks for developer Jim Onder, who said without those, the project is not competitive. He didn't say whether he'll move forward with the project without it. A group of residents has been urging the city council to vote against it, while supporters tout the promised economic investment. St. Charles holding a public meeting tonight to discuss a potential data center ban. The ban would prohibit large-scale data centers in the city. However, small-scale spaces would be allowed. The move comes after a large data center was debated last year. That did not go through. St. Charles enacted a 1-year moratorium on data centers last year. However, the council is holding a public hearing on the potential ban tonight at 7. The final 2 weeks of the 2026 Missouri legislative session have arrived, with only 1 week left to hammer out next year's state budget. Democrat Betsy Fogel of Springfield is one of the budget negotiators from the Missouri House. She says her priority is finding more dollars for K through 12 public schools.
We have 2 proposals in front of us, a House version of the budget that uses the blind pension and gambling money, the Senate version of the budget that uses the Capital Commission dollars. Arguably, we could use both and fully fund or get very close to fully funding our foundation formula. That's what I will be fighting for in the conference room. I would imagine that will not be the will of the majority party.
The Missouri House and Senate have until 6 p.m. Friday to send the $50 billion state budget proposal to Governor Mike Kehoe. Metro Transit holding a public open house tonight on bus rapid transit for the new Green Line corridor. The move comes after Metro abandoned a light rail plan that became too expensive, as officials say BRT would cost roughly 60 to 65% less. Tonight's meeting will be held at 2717 Sydney Street. Tomorrow's will be at the Polish Heritage Center, both from 5 to 7 p.m. There will also be a virtual meeting on Thursday at 7. From the KMOX business desk, Schnucks is the latest grocer to learn that smaller isn't always better. The St. Louis-based chain closing its Schnucks Fresh store in Jasper, Indiana next month, 4 years after opening it as a test of whether a compact 18,000 square foot store could work in smaller markets. It's 8:08. We'll check the forecast and the roads. It's rainy out there right now. Roger Brand will have the latest in 2 minutes here on Total Information AM.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to supplement superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
A Mother's Day to remember. Join us May 9th and 10th at Warm Springs Ranch for the Budweiser Clydesdale's Parade of Champions, a never-before open to the public chance to see our majestic stallions braided, polished, and showcased like true champions. Browse the gift shop and make a full day of it. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. Festivities run until 3 p.m. Enjoy live demonstrations and meet a Clydesdale up close. Tickets are limited. Go to warmspringsranch.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 8:10 coming up on Total Information AM. There have been back-to-back court rulings on abortion pill access. We're going to give you the latest coming up. First, though, let's get a check of the roads because it looks like that rain is slowing things down quite a bit. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, there's a lot of slow traffic out there, Megan. You're right. Eastbound 70, you've got heavy traffic from just east of Highway A all the way into TR Hughes. It's backed up the hill from Sunbelt to 94 and slow from that point into 270. 370 jams about midway in from Newtown to 94 up across the Discovery Bridge. 364 east of K to Goodermuth is still slow, and from 94 Mugi to 141. If you're on eastbound 64, a couple of spots east of Boone's Crossing through to Timberlake, but it's pretty busy the whole way in from east of Mason all the way through 170. South 170, Airport or Scudder down to 70 is slow, and then Olive to 64. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, and then Lindbergh to 270 is busy. Westbound 70, they cleared that crash at our city, but the ramps north and south 270 onto westbound 70 still have heavy traffic. North 270 slow at Tesson Ferry. Stop and go pockets from Gravois to Doherty Ferry, but still heavy all the way up to Ladue. 44, Bowles to Miraz, Big Bend in through Laclede Station, still kind of slow. 55 northbound, north of Richardson to the Merrimack, still busy. Backed up from the Union Road overpass up through Virginia, 4500 Broadway to Potomac, and westbound 6450 through 159, and then 25th Street to the Poplars stop and go. And westbound 70 still working that crash at Union. There's heavy traffic at the Musel Veterans. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Periods of rain today, a thunderstorm or two as well. It'll be much cooler than yesterday with temperatures holding nearly steady in the mid to upper 50s. Some rain early tonight, then maybe a shower late tonight, though 47. Mostly cloudy, cool tomorrow, perhaps a shower, the high 60. Sunshine and some clouds Thursday, the high 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
A rainy morning, 51 in Florissant, 50 in St. Peter's, 52 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The Supreme Court Monday restored broad access to the abortion pill mifepristone. It's temporary after a federal appeals court imposed new restrictions last week. Let's talk about the case and what could happen next. Joining me on the Quiver River Electric guest line, Michael Sinha, professor in the Center for Health Law Studies at St. Louis University School of Law. Professor, thanks for your time this morning.
Happy to be here.
So let's back up to this original case out of Louisiana. What were the original claims or allegations brought in that suit?
Sure. So it's interesting because they're focusing in on the drug mifepristone, and they're really centering in on some what we call risk evaluation and mitigation strategies. So these are limitations that have been historically placed on the drug since the year 2000 that have been gradually lifted over time because the FDA has found that the drug has been safe for its indicated use. So in 2023, the Biden administration lifted any requirement for in-person prescribing or monitoring of medication. And what that meant was that the medication could be sent through the mail. And so under the new administration in 2025, the FDA decided it wanted to revisit the program. And again, that's because we had a change in administration and a change in stance over whether or not the drug should be used in this context. And so Louisiana is essentially saying, we don't want this drug to be prescribed by telehealth, in pharmacies, and through the mail. And they're alleging here that I think it was between 600 and 700 abortions per year were being prescribed, despite the fact that the state has a ban on receiving any medications like that through the mail.
Now, what did the federal appeals court decide last week? What was the basis for them wanting to pause this?
Yeah, so the issue is that the case is going to proceed, and at least the issue to try to proceed through the district court in Louisiana. But what the Louisiana court was not willing to do was to halt any prescribing over the mail during the proceedings. And so what that meant was that mifepristone would continue to be distributed during the mail until the case was decided. And so Louisiana quickly appealed that to the Fifth Circuit. This is the same court that heard the mifepristone case back in 2023, 2024, and asked for a stay. And so the Fifth Circuit granted a stay, and that decision, again, was quickly appealed to the Supreme Court.
So the Supreme Court is letting this go forward for now, as things stand. As a practical matter, where does this leave providers, for example, who are seeking this medication right now and prescribing it? What are they legally able to do while things are kind of in limbo?
So in theory, they continue to be able to prescribe mifepristone through the mail. But again, we have a lot of these state bans in Louisiana, Missouri, and in other places. And essentially what they mean is even if there is a federal legal right to prescribe the medication, the state regulates the practice of medicine. And so the state actually decides that there is no legal shipment. And so I don't think this actually does a whole lot. This is really a procedural process that the Supreme Court undertakes when it's taking a little bit of time to decide whether or not this is appropriate.
I'm kind of curious, I don't know in the realm of medicine how unique mifepristone is. Have other mail order medications been challenged the way this has?
No, and I think there's a long history of this because if you go back to the Comstock Act, and I believe it was 1898, they were actually, there was a federal prohibition on mailing abortion-causing agents through the mail. And so there's a long-standing history of focusing in on these types of products. And again, the Comstock Act existed well before mifepristone was approved, which is in around 2000.
What other cases, that the Supreme Court has handled might suggest what the high court will do with this issue?
Yeah, so I think we have a sense of what the Supreme Court might do, in part because we've seen the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine versus FDA, which was decided in 2024. And so this was a challenge brought by a couple of doctors alleging that the drug was wrongly approved, and again, that all of these restrictions and then the lifting of those restrictions were overstepping the bounds of what the FDA was able to do. And so that decision was decided on standing, meaning that the plaintiffs were not appropriate. And so it paved the way for allowing stakeholders to try to find better plaintiffs. And so in theory, that's what they've done here. And it's not clear what they're going to do in my eyes, because what they could do theoretically is take this up on the merits and decide it now. But I think what politically they might be concerned about is having a decision relating to abortion medications prior to the midterm elections.
That was going to be my next question for you, whether they would just have a very narrow ruling next week or whether they're just going to explore everything in it. So your answer kind of answers that.
Yeah, so I think what they're probably going to do is to keep the stay in place, which maintains the status quo, especially in states that do allow shipment by mail, and then let this case proceed through the court. So it'll proceed back to Louisiana through the Fifth Circuit and then eventually to the Supreme Court. So that's going to take perhaps a year or more, which will allow the midterm elections to occur without any dramatic change in access.
Well, thank you so much for your insights. Appreciate your time this morning.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
That is Michael Sinha. He's a professor in the Center for Health Law Studies at St. Louis University School of Law. Make sure you stay with us. We're going to tell you about the Falcon Cam. It's a pair of peregrine falcons that are now raising 4 newly hatched chicks. And you can watch them on a live webcam. We'll tell you how you can access that. Maria Kina will give us an update on legislation related to reforming the U.S. Postal Service. And then we're going to look at the future of scientific research for our students. So stay with us this morning here on Total Information AM. Long list of issues on the roads. The last time we heard from Roger Brand, let's get the latest now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's still pretty busy, Megan. This traffic reports the service of I-3 broadband. North 270 still bogged down north of 55 all the way up to Ladue. South 270 is just 364 to Olive, so that's not as bad. Eastbound 70 is still looking at heavy traffic from Lake St. Louis Boulevard to T.R. Hughes, Cave Springs into 94, and then the Blanchett into 270. There's a slow pocket. Lindbergh toward the airport. Westbound 70, they cleared that crash at Union, although there's a jam now from Salisbury out through Adelaide, almost to a Fallon Park there. So maybe another problem, or it could just be unwinding. Southbound 170, the bulk of the volume is south of Olive to 64. Westbound 64 backed up Science Center to Hanley. Eastbound 64, a little busy at Prospect out west. It's slow from Annie Guns to about Timberlake, and 270 stop and go pockets east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt in that run. 44 Bulls to Mraz, and briefly east of Barry through Elms, a little busy around the bend, southwest through Hampton. Northbound 55, a little slow. 141 to the Merrimack, it's backed up from Bayless all the way to Virginia. 4500 to Potomac. Westbound 64 from 50 all the way to 157. It's heavy, and then it's jam pockets from 25th Street across the Poplar. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're springing forward with our longest price guarantees ever on our Geek Speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like we're going to have periods of rain, a thunderstorm or two, and it's going to be cooler than it was yesterday. Temperatures are going to hold steady in the mid to upper 50s. Cloudy tonight with some rain early. We could see a shower late, an overnight low of 47. Right now, we do still have rain. 52 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's Tom Ackerman for the great company, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 1926, a century of service. Here's to the garage door, the largest piece of moving equipment in our home. The garage door, you know, sometimes we take it for granted. It goes up, it goes down. You just rely on it every single day to do what it does. Well, what if it doesn't someday? That would be a problem. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will keep your garage door reliable by checking it out. Just get it tuned up, make sure that it's running smoothly. and they can do it for any brand. You don't have to get it from them. Any brand of garage door, overhead door company of St. Louis will take care of that for you. Same day service too. 314-781-5200. 314-781-5200. And don't be fooled by the imposters out there. There's only one overhead door company of St. Louis, the one with the red ribbon. Overhead door company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
I was just looking on the webcam, and this morning a mother peregrine falcon sitting on a nest hundreds of feet above an Ackerman Energy Center in Franklin County. 4 chicks just hatched in a specially built box that you can watch on that live webcam. I spoke with Jeff Messick, Deputy Director at the World Bird Sanctuary, and Julianne Randazzo, Career Environmental Scientist at Ackerman, Missouri.
Peregrine raptor chicks in general, bird of prey chicks, they are altricial, which means that they need a lot of parental care. They're not like ducks and chickens where they're running around or swimming like just a couple of hours after hatching. So the peregrine chicks, they don't have any strength in their feet up until probably they're 26 or 27 days old. So the parents have to not only bring the prey in, kill the prey, bring the prey in, but they've got to tear it to small pieces so that the chicks can eat the prey. And then once they start gaining foot strength and are able to walk around and balance on their feet a little bit better, the parents will sometimes just bring in a prey item, and whatever chick grabs it first, they grab it and they put it in their feet and they start to tear it with their beak.
What's the likelihood that all 4 will survive?
That's a good question. So survive to fledging they've got a pretty good chance for that. But then from fledging until they're about a year old, the odds go down pretty quickly. And you can say that in general with like all the birds in the wild birds in the world, 60 to 80% of all wild chicks hatched in 2026 will probably not make it to their first birthday. So just the fact that they have more than just one chick helps the species make sure or gives them a good chance of at least one of those chicks surviving to adulthood and producing chicks for their next generations.
Mm-hmm. And with the banding, there's a special code on the bands, like a letter and a number. So when you spot the chicks, several of our Ackerman chicks have been spotted over the years, and then it helps to track the population and the success of the species. And so some of our chicks have, at least one has made it to Texas. So we do hear about our chicks. Maybe they may not all make it to their first birthday, like Jeff mentioned, but we do hear some success stories as well. And Jeff, would you say when because peregrines have speed on their side, and diving up to 200 miles per hour or more, would you say when they first take flight, how long it takes them to gain that speed?
Yeah, that's a good question. So they I liken the fledgling chicks to human babies. When they're taking their first steps, there's a lot of falls. So it's not uncommon for these young falcons, when they're taking their first flight, to actually go all the way to the ground and be on the ground for a little while. And then maybe their second flight might not be as graceful as later flights, but then after that they start gaining their coordination pretty quickly. But they are still going to be fed by the parents, probably anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks after they leave the nest. The parents will continue to bring them food, but all through that time they're starting to develop on their own the flight skills that it will take to catch birds in midair. Peregrines eat almost strictly as other birds, as I mentioned, and they catch them almost always in midair.
That's Jeff Messick, Deputy Director at World Bird Sanctuary, with Julianne Randazzo, career environmental scientist at Ackerman, Missouri. The peregrine falcon chicks will likely be flying within 6 weeks. And if you do an internet search for Ackerman Falcon Watch, you can find the live feed of their nest. We did air another portion of this interview this morning at 5:20. You can find that on the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. It's now 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
It's 8:30, still ahead on Total Information AM. We're going to give you the latest on legislation to reform the U.S. Postal Service. First, though, let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we're still busy on a lot of these highways. Northbound Highway 270 still has a little slowdown right around Tesson Ferry, Sappington through Gravois, 44 all the way up to Ladue. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, still a little busy. K to TR Hughes from Cave Springs into 94. After that, it looks like it's in a lot better shape. Eastbound 64, still slow. Annie Guns to about Timberlake, and from Mason all the way in through 170 is pretty heavy. South 170 still bogged down around Delmar. Westbound 64 backed up Science Center most of the way to Hanley. After that, it's not so bad. 44 eastbound just Miraz to the Merrimack, and a little slow at Laclede Station and briefly approaching Kings Highway. Not that bad. Northbound 55 seeing a little backup. Looks like we have a minor incident just north of Highway Z. There's a little bit of a backup there. We'll check on that for you. And then there's slow traffic from about the Union Road overpass all the way up through Virginia. Westbound 64 better, but still approaching 159. There are a couple of slowdowns down the hill to 157, and then 25th Street to the Poplars slow all the way through. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we could see rain and a thunderstorm or two throughout the day, much cooler than yesterday, with a high in the mid to upper 50s. Cloudy with some rain early tonight, a shower late as well, an overnight low of 47. We do have just light rain now, 52 degrees downtown at the Arch.
I have countless pieces of mail missing since late January.
That's one of many people who wait for their mail to arrive, but say many times it doesn't. As KMOX's Maria Kina reports, Congressman Wesley Bell is pushing legislation that he says will force the U.S. Postal Service to take action to correct problems.
You and all the St. Louis residents have been dealing with late mail for too long. The OIG confirmed this. Leadership at USPS admitted it and agreed with the OIG recommendations. And I want to keep pointing that out because that's why we're stepping up and stepping in to make sure these fixes are actually happening.
KMOX has been covering this story since early last summer, nearly 1 year later, and USPS is still not delivering mail regularly. It often sits in the station because there are not enough carriers to deliver the mail.
We need to know where the staff deficiencies are, where the needs are. That's how we start getting at the solutions. And that is something that we've seen. And I'll be perfectly frank, we've seen cutting of resources with the Postal Service. And that's why it's so important to point out that the frontline workers are doing their job, but they're doing it understaffed.
I always go to the post office. I never put it in the mailbox. I go inside the post office and I put them both in the same slot. And it's taken almost 2 weeks. She received one, but it's taken almost 2 weeks for her to receive mine.
Bell says the letter carriers are facing a tough job right now.
They're doing it with their hands tied behind their back, and then we're questioning why aren't they doing this or doing that? No, we have to make sure that they have the resources they need, but we got to start with knowing where those deficiencies are and how to address them.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
It's 8:34. Your money report is next.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Let's talk about air medical memberships. In an emergency, you don't choose who transports you. Dispatch sends the closest, most appropriate aircraft. Here's what matters: speed, skill, advanced care. Like critical care crews trained for the toughest moments. Like onboard blood that can make the difference between life and death. Arch Air Medical Service delivers life-saving air medical care across Effingham and surrounding communities. When you call for help, we bring hospital-level care to you. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. And about the cost, the No Surprises Act protects patients with private health insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You're only responsible for your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. Medicare and Medicaid patients have similar protections. No surprise bills, no balance billing, no membership required. Because when it's your life on the line, what matters isn't membership, it's medicine. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
A number of companies announcing job cuts this morning. Coinbase plans to reduce its workforce by about 14%, or 700 employees. The crypto exchange says it will be concentrating its staff around talent skilled in AI while reducing layers of management across the business. Meantime, PayPal plans to cut costs and jobs as the payments company tries to turn around its business. Getting you ready for your trading day, stocks are bouncing back from yesterday's losses. The weeks-long ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran looks fragile, but it's still managing to hold up. And Apple is said to be preparing a new Creative Pass feature for its next major iPhone software update. Sources tell us the new tool will allow users to build and customize their own digital tickets and gift cards within the Wallet app, and adds to a string of enhancements set to be unveiled in June. Besides the new Wallet feature, Apple is planning a revamped Siri voice assistant and an accompanying app. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Tom Ackerman for McKelvey Homes, Missouri's oldest home builder, going back to 1898 and always coming up with new places to build. Folks, Inverness in Darting Prairie and Summerlin in O'Fallon are nearly sold out. I don't want you to miss these. At Summerlin, you have a lake, walking trails, and you're right next to the elementary and middle schools in highly rated Wentzville School District. And at Inverness, you get trails, lakes, and a one-year membership to Lake Forest Country Club. During McKelvey's spring event, rates are as low as 4.75% for well-qualified buyers, and savings go up to $124,000 at Summerlin. Jim Brennan is the president of McKelvey Homes, and he and his team have been building the right way. McKelvey Homes. They sell fast, and you can be in a new home now. Go to McKelveyHomes.com to learn more. That's McKelveyHomes.com, and move up to McKelvey.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Experience an evening of love, beauty, and lush soundscapes as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe. 3 extraordinary pieces come to life, from Ravel's masterpiece to the world premiere of Nathalie Joachim's Family to Kevin Putz's evocative Virelai. Nearly 300 musicians, May 8th through 10th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
You're back with Total Information AM. Let's get a check on the roads now. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we got trouble on northbound 270 now. This traffic reports the service of Artistic Decks. We have a crash north 270 about midway between Gravel and 44. They're working to get out of the way, so it's backed up at Tesson Ferry. But even once you get around it, it's still slow from 44 all the way up to Ladue. If you're on eastbound 64, there's still a little heavy traffic Clarkson to Timberlake and from Spady all the way in through Big Bend. South 170 a little slow at Delmar, but a solid jam from the Parkway to 64. Westbound 64 Science Center headed out to McCausland's, backed up and it remains slow all the way to Hanley. Eastbound 70, a little busy between Bryan Road and K, but there's still stop-and-go traffic from Cave Springs in through 94. A little busy around Cypress. Westbound 70 a little slow at the city limits. Northbound 55, they cleared that incident we had at Z, so we're better there. Still heavy Bayless up to Virginia. And westbound 64, a little back up at 50. Then it's slow. 159 all the way down the hill to 157, and still heavy from Baugh Avenue all the way across the Poplar. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Summer's here. Is your backyard ready? If you missed the spring rush, Artistic Decks can still make it happen. From premium wood to maintenance-free composite, get the quality you deserve. Don't wait. Call Artistic Decks today at 314-280-0821.
Checking the forecast for today, we could see some rain and thunderstorm throughout the day. It's going to be cooler. Expect a high in the mid to upper 50s. Right now, it looks like 52 degrees under cloudy skies downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, and you're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. You may remember the high school senior that we had in studio who experimented with a new way to detect forever chemicals. She was one of many students supported by a nonprofit called Science Coach. The organization is expanding and has just hired a new executive director, and she's here in studio with us, Dr. Christine Callis. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about the work that we're doing across the region and across the country.
Well, you recently worked as the executive director of education at the Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, so you're very well-versed in this area of science education and what's needed. I'm curious what intrigued you personally about this opportunity with Science Coach.
So I have, even during my PhD, I have really put together science and education as the area where I could have the greatest impact. Sometimes that's doing research on education, and sometimes that's facilitating students actually participating in the process of science. And so throughout my career, I've done a lot of science fair coaching, and I'm always very impressed with the quality of projects that students come up with. These are the kids who are going to be making those groundbreaking discoveries. And we discount when they're doing that because they're not doing that when they reach adulthood. They're doing that in high school. And being able to facilitate that by giving the teachers, their mentors, the resources and support that their teachers need to propel and coach these students to those groundbreaking discoveries, that is what's going to create the next thing that helps improve the environment or maybe saves lives. And being a small part of being able to expand that so that we have all of the kids across the country having the opportunity to make those research projects that lead to those groundbreaking discoveries, that's going to fuel our economy. It's going to improve our science. It's going to improve the education. And we're going to empower the students with their own understanding of their capacity so that we have a really amazing future.
I can only imagine how much science teachers in high schools and middle schools have on their plates. But are we really training up students in the kinds of critical thinking skills that they need to enter the STEM field?
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Even beyond critical thinking, we are thinking a lot in the field right now about what are those AI-proof skills for the jobs that we can't even imagine these students going into? What are they doing in 5 years? With how quickly technology is moving, we can't predict what those careers are going to look like, but we can understand some skills that AI is not going to replace. You named one of them as critical thinking. That's super important. Even more important when we are using AI as a tool to understand what it can and cannot do and what information it's giving us. But other things like curiosity and creativity, problem solving, the persistence. So if something doesn't work, that grit to try it again, all of those skills are AI-proof skills, along with things like communication, interpersonal, being able to present to your ideas and communicate those. Those are all skills that are essential, not just for science, but for all of the careers. If you have a business and you think about who you want to hire people with those skills. And interestingly, how do students develop those skills? They develop them through these types of projects, having opportunities to be curious about something enough to develop a research project about it, create that research project, run it, and then present it.
I think what's so interesting, because I was going to ask you what skills, research institutions look at. You didn't mention certifications or areas of study. It's almost those soft skills, I guess they call them, that are really still in demand.
Those are universal, right? So it doesn't matter if you're going into a certification or you're getting a credential or a degree. Those are skills that everyone needs, that they're just skills we want our society to have. We want people to continue to be curious and want to problem solve. We want them to think critically about what they're doing. We want them to be able to communicate what they're doing. You might be in a trade or you might be running a company. Those skills are essential in either of those careers.
How do we level the playing field for students who might not have some of the resources they need to launch into one of these projects?
Well, this is why it's so important for us to be supporting the teachers, right? So students in isolation, in fact, scientists in isolation can't do a project on their own. Scientists collaborate to bring together resources and different knowledge and expertise. And so expecting a student to come up with a project and run a project on their own, that's just not the way science is done. And so what we do is then we empower the teacher. We give them the experience, the resources, the contacts in the field, the insurance for the students to be able to do that research in a lab, the connections to the lab. And so they're the ones then that are able to foster the students with the skills and coach those students through the projects to make those groundbreaking discoveries.
Where can our listeners find out more about Science Coach?
Well, I would say start with our website, sciencecoach.org. It has a lot of information on it. We are recruiting for the 26-27 school year as well. So if you have a kid who wants to participate, get their teacher involved. Or maybe you know a science teacher or a math teacher or a computer science teacher, right? We're doing the whole STEM field. It's not just, I am a scientist. I tend to be a little biased towards science, but we need those engineers. We need the mathematicians. And so if you know a teacher or a student who's interested in this, send them our way.
And I have to note there's a list of students on the website that are going to be headed to the International Science and Engineering Fair in Phoenix
next week,
competing, including the young lady that we interviewed. So that'll be an exciting time for them to display their work.
Yes, we have 19 students from this area who are going down to the International Science Fair to compete. And I've been privileged to be able to judge some of those projects. I got to tell you, I am so thrilled. We hear a lot of things in our society right now that make me wonder what our future looks like. This is not one of them. These are the things where I'm like, this upholds my hope for our future, because these are such bright students doing really amazing work.
Dr. Callis, thank you so much for coming in studio this morning.
Thank you for having me.
That is Dr. Christine Callis. She is the new executive director of Science Coach.
I'm Rachel Zimmerman. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It's Tom Ackerman. I have the Mother's Day to remember. You ready for this? May 9th and 10th at Warm Springs Ranch for the Budweiser Clydesdales Parade of Champions. May 9th and 10th, this weekend, a never-before open to the public chance to see the majestic Clydesdales, braided, polished, showcased like true champions. You can watch them parade alongside their offspring and experience the world-renowned breeding program up close at Warm Springs Ranch. Live demonstrations, meet a Clydesdale up close. Your ticket includes all-inclusive food and drink. Browse the gift shop, make a full day of it. This is May 9th and 10th, 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bring a lawn chair, bring the family. Kick off the summer with the Clydesdales. Visit warmspringsranch.com. Tickets are limited for this exclusive event. warmspringsranch.com with the Budweiser Clydesdales. Presented by Worldwide Technology, the BizDash 5K is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, a high-energy corporate race in St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. Thursday, May 7th at Energizer Park. Register your team at stlbizdash.com.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is be solely based on advertisements.
Welcome back to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Just like you would do spring cleaning in your house, maybe it's time to do some spring cleaning of all of your digital household. Let's find out some good ways to do that with Julie Smith. She is a Webster University media instructor, an author, and a public speaker. Good morning, Julie.
Hi, Megan.
What are some of the things that we need to look at when we think about kind of cleaning house when it comes to what's out there about us on the internet?
Right. I think the first thing to remember is that it's not about being invisible online because, 2026, it's impossible to function in the world and not be online in some way. So it's not about being invisible, but it's about being accurate and really intentional. The first thing I tell my students to do is to set up a Google alert for their names. You can go google.com/alert, set up an alert for your name. And then anytime your name shows up online, you'll get an email from Google. Now, my name's really boring. It's Smith. So I had to add qualifiers to mine, like Julie Smith, Media Literacy, Julie Smith, Webster University, et cetera. So if you have a pretty common name, you're going to want to include some qualifiers in that Google alert so that you don't get a notification every single time the word Smith shows up online. I think it's good to also Google yourself. See what's out there. Do a news search, do a regular Google search, do an image search. And you ready to go down memory lane? Megan, do you remember Tumblr and Flickr?
Oh, yeah.
How about MySpace, Blogger, Friendster, Club Penguin? All of these old sites that we have accounts in, we should go back in and delete the accounts. Like just deleting the app from our phone if we're still using it, or we need to actually go in and delete the account, or at least deactivate any of those crazy middle school accounts from when we were in middle school. Do an audit of what you've posted, even if it's, X, Instagram, Facebook. Go back a few years and see what you've posted and delete anything that you think might be a little fishy. Untag yourself from photos if you want to. You can also opt out from data sellers like Spokeo or White Pages. You can go to those sites and opt out so that your data isn't sold anymore. You can use two-factor authorization or a password manager to kind of keep your accounts from getting hacked. I love to unsubscribe. That always feels so good to kind of clean out your inbox. But if when you Google yourself and something comes up on that first page that you really don't want people to see, the trick is to flood the web with great stuff about yourself so that anything you don't want somebody to see ends up on the second page, because nobody ever goes to the second page of a Google search. And so that's kind of like hiding bad speech with more speech.
Who could potentially be looking at what we've posted online?
Anybody. I always look at my students to see what kind of semester I'm in store for. I know that employers will do that also. People applying for scholarships or internships, colleagues. Heck, if you're on an online dating site and you connect with somebody, isn't that the first thing you're going to do? Is check all of the platforms to see what kind of person you're dealing with. Of course, we have to remember that a lot of the accounts on these platforms are actually bots. And again, another good way to protect yourself, if you're talking to someone online and you haven't met them in person and they won't FaceTime you or Skype you, that's kind of a red flag, right? So there's another tool called Google Reverse Image Search, where you can use that tool to actually figure out if that person is who that person says they are in the photo.
Is it suspicious, though, if you take too much stuff off? If you completely wipe out a lot of your digital record?
I don't think you want to completely kill off your record. Like, 15 years ago, if someone Googled you and nothing came up, that was fine. Now, if someone Googles you and nothing shows up, I think it's fishy. It means you're hiding something. It's very different now. We are expected as responsible adults to have solid, positive digital profiles. And so that's something that I think we need to help the kids with for sure.
And I think we need to remember too, just because we might delete an account or deactivate account, there may still be ways that some of that material is still floating around.
Oh, I mean, think about all the poor people who have tweeted out stupid stuff and the screenshot was taken and it comes back to haunt them. Yeah. So just deactivating or deleting accounts doesn't necessarily mean that information isn't out there somewhere, but it's a start at least.
All right. Thanks for helping us spring clean.
You bet. Good luck.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Aging comes in waves. Research from Stanford published in Nature Aging shows we don't age at a steady crawl. We hit 2